Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Freaky Fast Broadcasting on your Monday night. Tonight, we give you the coverage of the ISRC Larry Art Productions Truck Series. After coming off of a Veterans Day weekend break, these drivers are ready to tackle some more chase playoff action as they test their skills here at the little bit over a half-mile distance course of North Wilkesboro. Race 2 of the chase here this season is your Legacy Art Productions 180 at North Wilkesboro. A tough track for some. Hearing from drivers, it's tougher than it's been in the past on trying to find the right brake bias, figuring out how to get around this track cleanly. So it could be a long evening for some for 180 laps here tonight. But again, we are in the playoffs, officially in the chase. 13 drivers made it to the chase, and they're all chasing one driver. That is John Forbes, who still leads the point standings. Right behind him is going to be Nick Crawford with Vince Sora. That seems to be the real trio to watch out for who could hoist the championship. But if anyone has mistakes here tonight, they can really shake things up and make it a little bit more of a wide open fight for all 13 drivers. Again, we're excited to give you all the coverage here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. My name is Sam Dyer. Joining me in the booth, as always, is Zach Hall. And Zach, we're back to a very historic track in the ISRC series, as well as historic for real-life racing. But man, for the ISRC guys, this track always seems like the drama always is ramping up.
Yeah, you see those dark clouds over the track right here. I mean, they've definitely gotten some of those moments from the past, and we've seen how that's all played out, of course, and we'll see how tonight works out, though, because I can tell you one thing that these drivers are going to be fighting is not only their competition out there, but this racetrack. Very, very low grip out there, folks. These guys are all talking about how loose the rear end of these trucks are. So what that means, they're going to be fighting every single lap to not spin out these trucks. They're wanting to over-rotate and really spin those rear tires up off the corner. So it's going to be fun to see how the drivers manage it, and we'll see who can stay out of trouble, because it's going to be lurking around every corner exit.
And touching more on the clouds, weather could be also another thing to be looking out for on how the track is going to be ebbing and flowing with the outside temperatures. Having cloud coverage, it cools off the track. We'll see how that affects these drivers, as it is been dramatically cooling off as the start practice to now. Drivers have seen a loss of over 15 degrees Fahrenheit of track temp, so they're getting a lot faster as each lap goes down. As practice is going to be finishing up here in just 30 seconds, we're going to be entering into qualifying. But one big note, there's all 13 drivers of the playoffs that we know can be so quick, going to be threats to watch out for. But one driver does not look like he is here yet. I don't know if he's going to show up late or just miss this race completely. And if he does miss this race, his championship hopes are over. It's Mark Whitley, the only driver to win at this track. Zach, he's not here, and that would be a dramatic change on who could be the bigger threats to watch out for this evening.
That really would be a dramatic shift, Sam. I'm glad you brought that up, because I haven't even noticed down the list, and that would be very much a shakeup that a lot of people probably didn't see coming when, you know, the season started, even the playoffs started. So we'll see if he can get in here. He's got about 5 minutes before this qualifying session ends. That's usually when the registration time will end here on the iRacing session. So he's got about 5 minutes. We'll see if he can get in here before that time is up and still continue his chance for a championship.
Going to continue his chances for that championship hope, championship berth, while all the other drivers are here. And some of the drivers that have been quick in the past. First driver to take the pole here all the way back in season 3. It was this driver of Ali Fonseca in the 24 machine that took the pole. Did not take the win. It ultimately did go to Mark Whitley, as Ollie Fonseca gets prepared for his first lap. As well as you might notice, tonight is the throwback night. That's why it's known as Legacy Arts Productions 180. Lyra Productions, our title sponsor and race sponsor for this evening, threw out that this race was going to be a throwback race. So some drivers have some throwback old truck schemes, old NASCAR Cup Series schemes, some just having old schemes that they've ran in the past in the ISRC Truck Series. So it's going to be a fun evening of picking and choosing of, oh, we haven't seen that scheme in a while, as drivers are starting their first lap, completing their first lap, I should say, and starting their second one, as Ollie Fonseca going to be the first driver to put down the quick time. It's going to be a 19.233. Currently, the pole setter is this 24 machine as he exits out of 4 real loose, trying to keep his foot in the throttle, but instead, it's Thomas Green who tops the board for himself.
Big pickups from practice. We're seeing a 1909 from Thomas Green there to Vincent Soares 1913. That's definitely a couple hundreds better than what I was thinking we might see, and Thomas Green the first one to drop it down into the O's. So we'll see if anybody else can match that, but right now seems like a lot of drivers locating themselves right around that 19.1 to 19.2 region, as now Jared Talmadge will jump up the third.
Jared Talmadge, teammate of Thomas Green, finding that third place speed currently. Here's going to be Michael Miller, who has been notoriously known without having his number on his side, who has ran the same scheme all season long. So here's your red and white 99 of Michael Miller, hoping for a good run here this evening. Short tracks have been on the tougher side for the 99, but hoping that tonight could change it up, as these drivers, it looks to be a little bit over 20, going to be entering into tonight's race and hoping for some good speed. Danny Cochran going to be up to 7th place, but for Miller, his first lap after brushing the wall will keep his time. It's going to be 13th fastest with a 19.319, still about a little bit over 2/10 behind Thomas Green, our current pole sitter, driver who's had history here at North Wilkesboro and is hoping that it's going to be in the win column here tonight. Here's Ethan Smith in the 00 as he's running one of his throwback schemes, a scheme we've seen a lot back in season 2, 3, and 4.
It is definitely cool to see some of these guys bring back schemes that we've seen from previous seasons that these drivers ran. So cool to throw back almost to themselves. So let's see what Ethan can do on his second time around here, because that first one was a 19.325. He a little bit faster than he ran in practice, but we've seen a lot of people pick up from that practice session. So see if Ethan can find more time there on the second time around. And it looks like he's not going to find more time there, Sam. So he'll stay in that 14th position with some heavy hitters still yet to go. Presley Soares out there on track. Same with John Forbes as we're watching him put down his laps.
And also, what is Larry Yingling going to have as he's also waiting for his final laps? Is Cody Reed blasting his way up to second on the board. Christopher Norris up to third with his second lap with Reed. That was actually his first lap where he got that fast time. John Forbes waiting for some good pace here, and he will come up moving all the way to second. Presley Soares up to third, and they're all falling shy to Thomas Green currently. Your last driver to put a qualifying time in is going to be this 67 of Larry Yingling. Yingling exiting out of the corner as this will be the start of his second lap, but his first one going to be on the slower end. It's going to be a 19.6 as he's hoping to get for a massive pickup. He's a half second behind Thomas Green, but Zach, doesn't look like it's going to be the case.
Big slide from Yingling there off of turn 2. That's going to lose him a good chunk of time. We'll see if it's even a pickup after that mistake. It will be a pickup, but it's only going to put him in the 20th position. So Yingling not liking what he got out of that, but it seemed like most of the drivers other than Larry Yingling who waited to put their laps down really picked up. I mean, Christopher Norris, he shot up to 5th. Cody Reed, he was 4th. Presley Soares 3rd, and John Forbes 2nd. So it was a late barrage there for the final few drivers there getting in that top 5.
But they'll all fall behind the 18 of Thomas Green, who has been a superstar at the short tracks this season and is trying to continue on that pace. Thomas Green enters tonight 5th in points. As qualifying comes to a conclusion, we will be transitioning over to a 5-minute warm-up period. Allow the drivers any last bits of practice get a little bit more honed in with the track temps, maybe shifting a little bit more dramatically than it was during practice. As well, gives us time to take a look at our point standings, our schedule so far this season, and our pick'ems on drivers to watch out this evening. As we are into the warm-ups, let's take a look at how the standings have looked so far. We are one race into this chase. Again, 13 drivers made the playoffs, 12 made off of points. Cody Reed was the one that entered the playoffs with a win, but last time we raced 2 weeks ago at Talladega to start the playoff chase system, Joshua Stovall got into victory lane, and it only helped really John Forbes, who continues to keep his top spot, losing just 3 points to Nick Crawford, who's now just 19 points behind. But Zach, we still have 5 races counting tonight before the chase is over, but it's a little heartbreaking if we see John Forbes have an incredible run here this evening.
Exactly. Yeah, I think you know, a lot of drivers would be like, well, we got 5 races to go, but you know, Nick Crawford only gained about 3 points last week. It's going to be tough at that rate to continue to gain on John Forbes if he keeps having stellar performances like we know he's known to do. I mean, this 3rd championship in a row is right in his grasp, and it's going to have to take one of these other drivers to go out there and take it from. So we'll see who can put on the performance to put on, you know, max points efforts, because race wins here matter. You get a big chunk of bonus points. It's about 10 points for a race win. So you can go out there and win a bunch of races. You can erase a 19-point lead quickly.
And I know for drivers that are further on down, 8th on back, really have talked about the fact that if they're going to win this championship, it might have to come from that winning barrage to close in the gap, with being over 30 points back from 6th all the way down to 13th from our leader. Those drivers have a long rest of this chase playoff system to go, but let's transition over from looking at our standings to our schedule and see what's left for the table for these drivers, because we just came off of Talladega. Like I said, got to see Joshua Stovall get into victory lane for the first time this season. Doesn't look like he's going to be looking the quickest here tonight, but he's hoping to maybe go back-to-back if possible. But if we look at how the rest of the season is going to go, we get tonight here at North Wilkesboro, Sonoma, then Las Vegas, Phoenix, Chicagoland, wide variety of races, but a lot of them are actually favorites of some of the drivers that are in the playoffs.
That's for sure. We definitely got some drivers that circle a lot of these racetracks when they come to them. So we'll get to see a few of those drivers possibly go out there and get wins, but it's going to be any man's game for sure, because right now Sonoma, next week a road course, that will be wild. That's a place where possibly points could get a big shakeup, so to say. Las Vegas, always a traditional oval. We'll see, you know, how drivers battle there. But Phoenix, I think, is the other one I got circled as kind of a wild card like tonight, of something big could happen and big point swings could really shift.
And then we crown our champion at Chicagoland again to finish the season off before the New Year's, where I think a lot of drivers are excited to see what's coming for the new year. But for us, we still have tonight. And who are some of the drivers to watch out for this evening? As for the 3 of us, myself, Zach, and our producer, Robert Moyer Jr., we have pick'ems, who are drivers we think to watch out for, who we think may win. We made these decisions during practice. And here's our pick'ems. Before qualifying, I decided to go with Thomas Green. He looked that very quick at a lot of the short tracks we've been to this season. I thought he was going to be quick to watch out for here tonight. Was actually on the thinking before qualifying, could be a dark horse to watch out for, but with the pull time, 18 looks quick. That is my pick to watch out for here this evening. Zach, who's your pick for the driver to watch out for tonight?
Love your pick, Sam. I gotta give you a big credit on that, but I'm gonna go with Nick Crawford here tonight. You know, I had a huge switch up on myself of who I was going to go to. The driver I watched that felt really comfortable in the long run, looked very strong, was the 74. So I think if we get one of those long runs, 74 could be the one to watch out for.
It's going to be a big thing to watch out for if we can find a long run. And again, our 3rd member in our booth, running productions in the background, Robert Moyer Jr., he's going to be going with the 9 machine of Justin Campbell, which I don't think that's the worst call either. Campbell looking good on the short tracks as well, has a lot of real life experience at short tracks. I think this 9 machine could be a driver to watch out this evening if he can stay out of trouble. Those are our 3 pick'ems. Honorable mention again, Mark Whitley did not make it for qualifying, missed out on practice, does not look like he's registered for tonight. That is an incredible shock for a driver who was excited for this playoff system. But I mean, Zach, you have to make it for every race with the chase. It's not as simple. You miss one race, you still got a chance. It's almost like your championship hopes are gone after missing one race.
That's for sure. Yeah, this format does not play well for missing races. So if you're going to miss a race, you're probably going to be not you're holding the championship. So definitely something I think a lot of drivers are going to say that's a big one. Taken off the list now is Mark Whitley, not here tonight.
As the field is finishing up warm-ups, like I said before, we finished up practice, we finished up qualifying, warm-up is done. There's only one thing left for this evening, and that is to give you the coverage of our North Wilkesboro race here for the Legacy Arts Production 180 laps here tonight. And the field is prepared to take off and go as they're gridding up. Here is going to be your 22 drivers and where they start here this evening. Top of the board, grabbing himself another pole this season, Thomas Green in the 18, wanting to have a fantastic start to the playoffs, as wanting to continue on the pace, to catch up to the guy who was outside, John Forbes. Points leader enters this evening. He will be second entering tonight, with Presley Sora, another strong short track contender, starting in third. Cody Reed wasn't sure how he was going to feel confidence-wise for this track, but he's hoping for a change-up. The 25 will be starting in fourth position. Christopher Norris, quick speed late, as he was one of the last drivers to qualify. He'll take fifth position. Sixth goes to Vincent Sora. Seventh, we find Jarrett Talmadge. Eighth is where we find Zach's pick of Nick Crawford. Down in ninth is Isaac Shelley, and finishing out our top 10, we find the 46 of Trenton Jump.
Starting in 11th is going to be the 2-truck past champion, Danny Cochran. 12th is going to be the 13 truck of Cedric Hunter, playoff contender. 13th is going to go to the 24 of Ali Fonseca, past pole setter here. 14th is going to be last week's winner, Joshua Stovall in the 42 machine. 15th is going to go to the 16 of Joshua Kanata. 16th is going to be the 9 of Justin Campbell. 17th position in qualifying is going to be the no-numbered truck, the 99 of Michael Miller. 18th is going to be the 00 of Ethan Smith, with 19th in qualifying going to Samuel Garcia. Larry Yingling is going to round out the top 20, and we got Martin Brown starting 21st, and Tyler Dingler starting in 22nd.
Tyler Dingler deciding not to go out for qualifying, so he'll just take that final spot. But 22 drivers enter here this evening, and should be a fun one to watch overall. North Wilkesboro, a track where we've seen tempers fly, but ultimately it's been a lot of just survival mode at most times that we're on this track. It's going to be tough for everyone from up front to the back to find the grip levels to keep this truck pointed in the right direction, as well as try to carry a lot of good speed. But tonight's race, again, 180 laps. We have a stage at the end of lap 65. Now, at the end of lap 65, if there is no caution thrown for an on-track incident, they will not throw a yellow before the end of the stage. They will just race on through that lap 65 marker. There also will be no fast repair or extra sets of tires in pit road, and fuel doesn't look to be the biggest factor in the world if you have a lot of cautions. But if we somehow stay green all the way through this race, we're going to be seeing a one pit stop here this evening. But again, back to that stage point, they will be able to drive through that lap 65 if there is no stage yellow. But if there is a caution between laps 60 and 65, that would count as our stage. Top 10 drivers at that point would get bonus points. But Zach, any thoughts before we get ourselves ready to ramp up and go to start race 2 of the chase?
Well, I'll tell you what, Sam, you know, this track can be very, very destructive to people's championship hopes. So the early thing I think a lot of drivers need to think here is be careful. The tires are very, very fragile. If you got here to start really abusing the rear tires, you're going to be struggling early, and you might lead to a spin.
Drivers up front, Thomas Green, John Force, Presley Sora, Cody Reed, hoping for the perfect launch to take off and stay out of trouble. It's a quick restart as we are already green for the Legacy Arts Production 180 here tonight. The second race of 6 for the chase is on, and oh no, contact for our leaders, Forbes, Green, both going to the outside, heartbreaking for both. We stay green for now, but now the caution will be thrown as more drivers pile up off the exit turn 2. And there's the drama that we're waiting for as it strikes up front and it continues off the exit of 2.
3 of our top 4 qualifiers are to the rear of the field immediately, and it's really going to happen up here in that front lead position. The 18 of Thomas Green gets in too deep, loses the rear end on the cold tires, puts himself in the wall with John Forbes. There you go, see Cody Reed. I think he lost it off the exit possibly.
He'll lose it off the exit and then came back up onto the track. As we'll take another look at this thing as Thomas Green, cold tires, just went for a launch, and was crazy enough, it was an admin thrown yellow that got us to this yellow marker. It wasn't even iRacing throwing it, but Thomas Green, you see going into the corner, just locks up. And this was an issue during practice. Gets a little bit of neck code while coming back up on track that really forces both the 11 and the 18 up into the wall, but both lock it down. Caution was not thrown because they were still moving forward and pointing in the right direction. Then Cody Reed further up ahead with his spin is what made the admins feel like, all right, we got to throw a yellow now for the safety of the field.
Wild moments for sure right there as Reed went around two, and tough breaks for those drivers. I mean, John Forbes, I think, hit that wall pretty hard, but luckily, like, looking at it struck over myself, doesn't seem like it's too badly damaged. Luckily, it doesn't seem like, you know, no suspension damage, because that could be really, really detrimental to himself. So, going to lose a ton of track position for that 11 team, but we'll see how he responds as a two-time champion here with some adversity early in the second playoff race.
Multiple drivers had to go into pit road to get service done of some sort, as Thomas Green and John Forbes both went into pit road and got damage repairs done. Same for Larry Yingling, and Cody Reed will start all the way back in 19th after his spin. Everyone else advancing in position, and now a quick turnaround. We have already been given the 1 to go marker, and it will be the Sora brothers, Presley and Vincent Sora, your front to the 12. Presley Sora on the outside is going to be the lead driver on this restart. Everyone else behind, though, it's going to be Christopher Norris, Nick Crawford, teammates from Snowy Desert Racing, going to be behind them in third and fourth, and Isaac Shelley, Jarrett Talmadge, Trenton Jump, Danny Cochran, Cedric Hunter, and Ollie Fonseca, your new top 10. As the huge shakeup on our initial launch didn't even complete half a lap, and it was dramatic. Let's see what this restart's like as green flag is out. The Sora brothers take us to the green here for the Legacy Arts Production 180. Much cleaner launch on the up front, but the exit of turn 2 is where the drama we're expecting to see.
It is. The exit 2 is the big problem for these drivers. They got to get some heat in the tires before they really start to show any semblance of grip, and that's going to take lap maybe 2 to get that pressure kind of built back into the tire that they need. But right now, the Sora brothers lead the 1-2 way as that chaos really opened the door for both of them.
This is going to be a lot of short track racing effort on the rest of the field. How many drivers have practiced on their braking zones, willing to react around one another? Because different drivers have different points where they feel like they need to slow down, especially in traffic. It's working out for our top about 6. They're pulling away. But here in the middle, this is 7th on back, where drivers are really getting all up on one another, still 2 by 2 around the battling from 9th to around 15th. They're just not giving any space. And our 2 drivers that led the start of this race, John Forbes is up to 16th position, and he just caught this wall of drivers that are stuck 2 by 2.
And this can be so tough when you're stuck on the bottom here, like Cedric Hunter and the 42 of Joshua Stovall. These 2 are just trying to find a way in. It looks Stovall finds his way up to the top. Now Cedric Hunter's stuck on that bottom, and it can just be so frustrating because you're trying everything to not lose spots and just give them up for free. But when someone gets to that quarter pin on the outside here at North Wilkesboro, it really opens the door for a pass to be done. And if you're Cedric Hunter here, you can't get too overzealous and overwork the rear tires, trying to stay alongside. So if you're Cedric Hunter, you just kind of got to roll over, unfortunately, when you're stuck on this bottom like this.
And also with the ways that North Wilkesboro is designed, there's slight changes in elevation that these drivers are dealing with. Going into turn 1, they're going slightly up so they can utilize the brakes and gravity to slow down a little bit more. Going down into 3, you're really hard on the brakes because you're slightly going down. So these drivers have to deal with that factor as well. And that's why we're seeing through 1 and 2, the outside lane can be utilized a little bit more than it can through 3 and 4. As the field continues to race on, John Forbes is up to 15th now, but still a long trek of drivers to get by before he can get back into the top 3 where he would prefer to be running, where it's the Presley brothers still 1-2, Nick Crawford 3rd, Christopher Norris a little bit under fire as Forbes sets up a pass on Kanata there.
If you're Forbes, so you gotta be patient here early in the race still. I mean, it's 65 laps till we see that stage call, or sorry, no stage caution, but that stage, points break there where we get the points given out. So if you're Forbes, you really just want to work your way methodically up here, because you got, like the likes of Nick Crawford there, who's gained points on you right now by running up in that top 3. So Forbes is just going to want to get, I think, a few points out of this and just kind of minimize the damages and not take nothing too big of a risk, because if you kind of build on what's already happened, it can only make the night worse.
Seeing Ollie Fonseca, Justin Campbell, Joshua Stovall, our Talladega winner from last week, all in line. Looks like that 24 kind of being the stalling point where drivers are picking and choosing where to go as you hop on board with 16. It's going to be Joshua Kanata that we're on board with, as he's running his own throwback scheme for himself, as he was having a little bit more playfulness with play on words here tonight with the way his game works. But currently, you'll see these drivers in line. This is your traditional short track racing, especially here at North Wilkesboro. Everyone in line, single lane racing. It's all about the mistakes. I mean, Zach, I was talking to some drivers as caution flag is out. It's trouble for Ethan Smith further in on back for the 0-0. As that will reset us, and that kind of takes away from the conversation I was actually going to have about if we go into a long run, how would drivers react? Because I was hearing from some drivers, they were saying they were not practicing at all on the long run, but instead we get a caution here as Ethan Smith, Tyler Dangler looked to be close. Was it in contact? Self spin. 0 seems to be still running his own lane and off the exit of the corner. Still good. I mean, it's close to say, but I think it might be a self spin here off of 4, unless Tyler Dangler really ran up on him.
Yeah,
and there it is.
Self spin. Yeah, it just a very easy spot to spin up and lose the rear end where Ethan did that. And as the run goes on, the tires are only getting worse. So not surprised to start to see a few spins in. I think it's going to be questionable to see two people to come down and get tires, because tires are valuable. You have, those sets in the pit road, but also track position so valuable and also keeps you kind of safe. So the decisions are going to be very tough tonight when it comes to deciding for pit road.
And also decisions coming to pit road to get service done of damage repair for some, as John Force re-enters pit road to get damage for himself. Tyler Dangler as well, a little bit of topping off on fuel. The fuel window that we were given for drivers was around 146 laps, and we're running 180 in total here this evening. So there isn't any worry about fuel to the stage, but trying to figure out that fuel number to the end of this race could be helpful if we get into that long green flag run, as all drivers that pitted under this caution have been able to get back out on track, still on the lead lap. But those drivers being Joshua Kanata, Tyler Dangler, John Forbes, Ethan Smith, all entering pit road. Damage for Ethan Smith and John Forbes. Tyler Dangler and Joshua Kanata only fuel only for themselves. But Zach, I mean, up front, we have the Presley Sora brothers up front. We've got Presley and Vincent Sora, the brothers up front. They are one of those situations where we've always wanted to see this since season 1, to see the Sora brothers racing on the same track. It's been a fun season at this point, but seeing them short track racing up front, this is what we've been waiting for all season long.
Oh, this is something we've been dreaming about right here, is we want these two to race really hard. That's really, I think, what a lot of people wanted to see, because two of the most talented iRacers out there, man. The Sora brothers are both very talented. I mean, see, Presley's brought his stuff to the real life scene and really done a great job to get himself in the spot he's in, and it's just cool to see these two be able to go battle here at North Wilkesboro.
As we are back to green flag action for the Legacy Arts Production 180, it's going to be a good launch on the outside. Vincent Sora not able to really get going. It's going to be assisting Christopher Norris as that blue machine on the outside, the 38, trying to get a better launch off the exit of turn 2, keeps his foot in the throttle, and it will be side by side for second place as Presley Sora feels comfortable, confident, and trying to pull away as the battle for second place really is raging on. It's gonna say Vincent Sora putting his all into making sure he doesn't give up second place.
He doesn't want to give that up, but I tell you what, Christopher Norris might take it here, especially great run there down the back straightaway. The door is going to get closed by the 38 here down to the 3, and now even Nick Crawford, the teammate of Christopher Norris, he's going to try to work the outside, and this is exactly what Vincent Sora doesn't want to see. And it's one thing that's starting on the bottom that'll happen here in North Wilkesboro. You get trapped down there, the drivers on the outside use that momentum, really trap you low, and when it's loose like this, you can't put the power down when you're trapped on the bottom of something.
Especially off the exit of turn 4. There's some nasty bumps down there that Vincent Sora is working with, and almost every time he was exiting the corner, that rear end just was trying to loop around, and it was counter steering to keep that thing pointed straight. But as the battle for second and third finally woes up, the middle of the field still full force on where drivers are going to be solidifying in line, and currently it's the battle for 10th place that looks the closest, as Joshua Stovall, as well as Michael Miller, Larry Yingling, Ollie Fonseca, they're all on top of one another. And also in the mix, it's going to be in 13th position, Thomas Green, our pole sitter, finally trying to find some footing to move forward, as on that last restart, really just stayed all the way back in 20th position, wasn't really able to advance forward, as now he's in the heat of things, stuck in the middle of this wall.
he seemed very patient, Sam. Like you said, he just didn't really go anywhere on that first run there after the caution. So I think he was just kind of letting this stuff come to him. He's probably kind of mad at himself for that mistake he made.
Oh,
so he's going to do it instead of
no!
her goes around off the nose of the 11.
Oh, John Forbes throttles it up, and the 13 was there. Cedric Hunter goes around, bringing out the caution as we will reset as Forbes, his Grover aggression moves of trying to make the inside row of every track work. Looks like it might have overworked at this moment, as seeing that the light's going to be the next lap when we see this incident. And Zach, seeing John Forbes, he was really sending it all, trying to get by these drivers as quickly as he can.
You know, John, willing to go for a spot at any point. If the gap's there, he's going to take it. Looks to the inside here. What's really going to happen here? They come off the exit. There's going to be a little bit of net code contact that sends the 13 down off the nose of the 24, or off the side of the 24. The 11's there and just kind of runs into the back of the 13. So that was just kind of just really Cedric Hunter being in the wrong place at the wrong time, getting net coded first by the 24, then having the 11 there. If the 11 probably wasn't there, I think everything would have worked out. But John Forbes just too close not to back out of the situation.
Yeah, and it looked like for John, he was expecting maybe the 13 to move up, not expecting the pinch to be there to force the 13 to stay in his position. And both drivers apologetic over the radio, both giving their both sides and keeping it clean for this evening as we are officially entering into the second half of stage 1. Again, the stage concludes at the end of lap 65. These drivers, if we get to the end of lap 65 and we are green, we will race through it unless there is a caution between lap 60 and 65. That would count as our stage, and then it will be who wins here tonight. Presley Sora, Christopher Norris, Nick Crawford now going to be your new top 3 as Vincent Sora got pushed back to 4th. And this is going to be an interesting moment because now it's going to be the teammates 2nd and 3rd get to see how nice they want to play against one another on this restart. Because Zach, I mean, we saw there Christopher Norris, Nick Crawford both taking advantage of leaving Sora on the outside, but they're both going to be on the inside groove. I'm curious if they're going to find any tactic to try to still hold Vincent Sora back.
These are the Sora brothers on the outside here. If you're Vincent, you're liking this now because you're in the position that Christopher Norris was in just a restart ago. So he's going to try his best to time this with his brother to get to the outside of the 38. If you're Christopher Norris, though, and Nick Crawford, the best you can do, just get the best jump you can here to stay with Presley so you don't allow that 15 to get to the out quarter panel.
Top 4 is where the action's going to be. Who gets the better launch? Are you expected on the outside? Christopher Norris, big wiggle for himself with those older tires. Not able to get fully clear of Vincent Sora into the corner, but the 38 will be stuck on the inside groove. Crawford moves high in front of Talmadge. Talmadge, big wiggle for himself. But it's going to be all the battle for second place as Christopher Norris, Vincent Sora almost beating and banging off the exit turn number 4. They keep it clean for now, but into turn number 1, it's Presley Sora trying to pull away from the chaos in his mirror.
Very close racing for that second spot and even farther back. His drivers are looking for spots all over the place, but it will be Vincent Sora who clears for second. Christopher Norris slots into 3rd. Now Nick Crawford in 4th, and Jarrett Talmadge up in the 5th.
Talmadge, loving the fact that he's able to find the spacing to move forward. Also want to give kudos to the 46s. Oh, big slide for Danny Cochran in the 2 machine. Isaac Shelley going to be trying to squeeze his way back in line. No one wants to get stuck in the conveyor belt to go backwards, but Trent Jump in 7th. Want to give his flowers on the fact that he's having one of his better runs so far this season. And under the radar behind him, still 2x2, almost 3-4 rows deep. They're going to be almost 3 wide. They will be 3 wide. John Forbes shipping it underneath Ollie Fonseca as he finally finds spacing, and they were 3 wide, 2 rows, but they continue to stay 3 wide, almost 4 wide, as Thomas Green forcing his way to the inside groove, trying to follow in the tracks of the 11. John Forbes is making every move possible. He's back inside of the top 10.
Yeah, that's huge because that gives him so much time to get farther up here before that lap 65 where the points are divvied out. So that is huge for this 11's opportunity to keep his points lead intact. But Reed up into the wall, but he's going to go around off the nose of the 42.
Oh no, oh my goodness! Thomas Green! Oh, goes flipping. And Thomas Green, what a charge for himself.
And he's stuck, Sam. He's on his side. He's done for. Oh, man. Gonna have to toe to pit road there for Thomas Green. We're gonna see what happened here, Sam.
Oh, just clipped, tap, pinched, and spun. And the 18, nowhere to go. No assistance, has to take the toe, and this is gonna be a wild ride as we hop on board with Thomas Green and see what he saw. Just trying to stay on the inside groove, sees Cody Reed get spun off the nose, and that is not the way that you want to be seeing this racetrack in this truck.
Oh, the pole setter, just so quick here tonight. And, you know, not surprised to see him up here being that quick, but man, just to be caught up in this, he's going to go back and look at that mistake and say, why did I just make that mistake? It would have made my life so much harder. And you can see the chaos that ensued. Cedric Hunter got involved in it, but really it all happens. You know, Cody Reed, I mean, he just got a great drive through the top and center of 3 and 4 on the third lane. Almost got alongside the 99 of Michael Miller and kind of got squeezed up into the wall and then kind of bounced off it from there into the 42. So it was kind of just multiple things happening at once and just everybody getting stacked up there with Thomas Green getting the worst of that ordeal.
Thomas Green having to take the toe and also have required damage to deal with. So it's just continues to pile on the 18, as that was also a thing. Talking to drivers before the broadcast, they said it felt like if there was an incident, it was almost impossible to avoid a wreck when it happens in front of you, and it perfectly shown there. Just nowhere to go for about 5 drivers after just one car goes around and is spinning in front of you.
That's exactly right. It clogs up very fast here, especially on the front straightaway, because guess what? You got a wall to the inside, a wall to your outside, of course. So it's not really much place to go, and you see a lot of times where wrecks will go down, hit that inside wall, bounce back up, and kind of cause some stuff. So tough ordeal, but kind of a common scene that you see here at North Wilkesboro is we got them back double file. As looks like we may be going back to green flag race here, and Vincent Sora this time back in the position he doesn't want to be, and now Nick Crawford in the preferred position of 4th.
And Nick Crawford going to be on that outside row following Presley Sora, and also behind them going to be seeing Jared Talmadge, who continues to be on the inside on these restarts. New driver to his outside groove as green flag is out. Sora is able to get the launch for the 12 machine of Presley. It's Vincent Sora who's put a little bit more pressure on Nick Crawford, pushing the 74 wide, giving a little bit more space for a better launch off the exit of the corner, but Nick Crawford's still there as they go into turn 3.
The key is you got to be almost half a truck ahead going into 3 if you want an opportunity to clear. He's almost done it. He's got to really drive it in now to 1, but Crawford going to do the same thing, put it on the door. And if you're Vincent Sora here, be perfect on the exit, because it's your opportunity. Crawford slides, Sora back in the second.
Vincent Sora able to get the moment that he needed. Jared Talmadge, Justin Campbell, they were the start of row number 3. They still stay side by side, not able to give spacing to one another. Almost contact between the 61 and the 9 as they go into turn number 1. Behind them, knocking on their door, it's the 11 of John Forbes. He's back into the mix as that caution really helped reset him. He cracked into the top 10. Now it's the 11's turn to crack into the top 5 with some bold moves. The 11 of John Forbes has been willing to go 3 wide, and I think if he's close enough, he'll force that issue again.
He definitely will force that issue if he's close enough, Sam. We know he's done it all night long, and we'll see what he takes here opportunity-wise, because already working his way into the top 8. He's going to have some open doors and opportunities to get some of those points back in. A few drivers sliding as we come to 20 to go in the stage. Forbes on the prowl.
Almost getting into the inside quarter panel of the 2 of Danny Cochran. Cochran's going to snap loose, and that's another chance for Forbes to go down low. And for John Forbes, might be wondering why is he so aggressive. He's got a buffer to work. Oh no, Jared Talmadge, big slide, holding up. Gonna be John Forbes looking down low, almost 4 wide, and Cedric Hunter backs out of it smartly. He'll follow in the tracks of the 11. Big whoa up and scare, and if one driver's slipping like that, you know the rest are also feeling that hurt. But the big thing for John Forbes, he enters tonight with a 19-point gap lead over Nick Crawford. Vincent Sora, he's got points to give, just not enough where I feel like you can just throw a race away, but he's driving like he can as the laps continue to tick away. Our stage, again, ends at the end of lap 65. We can race through it. It will not be a complete thrown yellow at the end of that lap, unless there is a caution for an on-track incident between laps 60 and 65. That also would count as a stage, as behind him goes the 00 of Ethan Smith.
Ethan Smith going around same way he did off of 4 just earlier, and it's so easy to do, man. This place, as the tires start to overheat off the exit of 4, you talked about, there's bumps, there's all types of things that play a plague to these drivers, and Ethan Smith just going out for the second time tonight. I definitely think he's going to be saying, man, what do I need to do to fix that?
And all apologies, you can call it a commentator's curse. You can tell just unfortunate luck. Thomas Green's night is officially done. As he was getting repairs done, he has called it an evening. As Ethan Smith might be calling it an evening with a bizarre put in the wall for the 0-0, as he's trying to catch up back to the field for himself. As it's not fun when you got those older tires, you've been sliding around multiple times, and you're trying to catch back up to the field, and it just doesn't, the machine doesn't want to work the way that you'd like it to.
No, it does not. So it's sometimes a hiccup, so to say, as Ethan Smith will bring it to pit road, but Presley sort of still leading the way up front as we trek back up here as we pace around the North Wilkesboro Speedway. And man, he's done an excellent job. And I tell you what, Vincent Sora also excellent job that time. Restarted second and was able to hold on to second. So I think that is a good sign for him. If we can get some green flag laps and we get these guys going and not too separated from Presley Sora, we could see a battle on our hands.
And officially just leaving the server as he entered pit road, Ethan Smith is calling it a night. Ollie Fonseca, you saw driving past our leaders, is the lucky dog recipient, as the 24 will be back on the lead lap, leaving us with 20 drivers on the lead lap, 20 drivers still out on track, as we've just lost both Thomas Green and Ethan Smith. Leading up front, going to be the Sora brothers once again, but John Forbes up to 8th place. I mean, Zach, he's in a similar position he was in on that last restart, but I got a feeling this 11 machine is going to go for another dive bomb move. The question is it before the stage or after the stage where he goes for that move?
I think it's before the stage, if I know John well. I mean, the one thing about John that I think he does very, very well is he just races the same way each and every lap. I don't care if he's got a 45-point lead or a 2-point lead. John Forbes is going to go for that position if he feels like it's necessary. So I expect him to be very aggressive here. He will be on the top side, so I think he'll probably be patiently aggressive here, where he's going to try to utilize that top side, maybe grab a few spots. Then you'll see him make a big move at some point as we get near that stage, because it'll quickly be here, almost 10 to go in that stage when we go back green, and that's going to be not much time if that caution does fly, because remember, 5 laps from the end of that stage will be the end if the caution does come out.
Well, I know we've got a few people watching here tonight, curious on who is your driver to watch out for. I think I got an idea of who Kat's rooting for. She's probably rooting for Joshua Stovall, but if anyone else is out in chat and has the ability to do so, we'd love to see which driver are you cheering for and supporting this evening, or is there a team that you're supporting with, as the drivers are stacked up and ready to take off. Again, coming to the end of the stage, going to be 11-lap shootout to figure out who's going to be in the top 10 to get those bonus points. As green flag's back on the air, it's the Sora brothers taking us to the launch. Presley with the better go on the outside. As going to be looking in that 3rd place position, it's the teammates Christopher Norris, Nick Crawford. They will stay as Vincent Sora, much cleaner launch, holds for 2nd position.
That is exactly what Vincent Sora needed, was to not let Presley get clear, or sorry, not let someone get on his quarter panel where he lets Presley get a couple of truck lanes. He's now in the back bumper, has an opportunity here. I think he's going to go for it as soon as he can, because he's running out of time if that caution does come at some point.
As drivers are rocketing their way forward, a lot of big wiggles are happening up front. We've seen the likes of Cody Reed had that big slide, but he's still having a good recovery run up to 9th position. Is behind them is Trent Jump going around for the 46 machine. As late caution, this is going to be putting us in the window of about a 5-lap to a 6-lap shootout before this stage is over.
Oh man, another self-spin off of 4, and it's not uncommon to see here when this happens. This truck very, very unbalanced, and it seems like very on the loose side, and these drivers fighting for every opportunity to keep them straight. Trent Jump goes around, brings out our next yellow.
Got people rooting out there for more Joshua Stovall fans, as well as we got a Cody Reed fan, Lenny. Cody Reed's dad's out in chat. We also got some people rooting for Ollie Fonseca out there. Love to see the support for drivers that are out on track, as Drivers doing some more fake outs of who's going into pit road. But this would be the time if your driver's further on back to make that pit stop. It could be one of your final stops of the evening. If we go into a long green flag run, as Cody Reed will take that option. Into pit road will be the 25. Ali Fonseca, Isaac Shelley, both will enter pit road as well, leaving us with the likes of, going to be up front of Presley Sora, Vincent Sora, Christopher Norris, Nick Crawford, Danny Cochran, John Forbes, Justin Campbell and Jared Talmadge, not John Forbes. Going to be 7 drivers yet to pit so far this evening.
And see, if it was to go green, they would be in big trouble compared to a lot of these drivers who've already come down. So, you know, it does look great for these drivers up front who are positioning themselves well for some stage points, but that opportunity of track position could be slipping slowly away as we get farther away, with some of these drivers taking an opportunity to come down early, knowing that these quick yellows are kind of appearing.
Got some more people rooting for some drivers. We got Larry Arts Production, his own, gonna be out there in the chat. He's sponsoring the race and the series. He's rooting for his gang of drivers. Gonna be Danny Cochran, Ali Fonseca, and Cody Reed. We also have Gage rooting for Danny Cochran. So seeing some more Danny Cochran fans out in chat. I always love to see, again, the support is awesome to see these drivers getting to see in chat when they go back and rewatch the races, the support they're giving for them. As we got the 1 to go, lights are off. It's going to be for about a 5-lap shootout for, technically won't take the green. So Zach, it's going to be very quick. If these drivers want these points, they got to make the big moves now.
That they do. It's kind of, the pay window is here, so to say, Sam. I think you're going to see some aggressive moves. John Forbes up the 6th on the outside line. Expect something big from him.
As the drivers get ready, green flag is out. If we get a quick caution before lap 65 completes, that would count as the stage, so everyone knows it's go time. As green flag is out of the air, Presley Sora going to be taking the launch off the exit turn 2. He is still clean, so is Vincent Sora. It's third on back, side by side, and it's going to be John Forbes. How does he want to react with teammates around? Does he overreact to get by them, or just stay in line? As Presley Sora crosses the line for himself, it's now 3 laps to go in the stage.
Oh, this is amazing to see this battle in here. Is Crawford and his teammate and Christopher Norris staying side by side. Forbes was kind of stuck there behind Crawford, who didn't have the greatest jump on that restart, but Forbes still fighting with Cochran. So it's not a gain here for Forbes. He really needs to lock in if he wants to get some more points.
He needs to lock in, but he's trapped by his teammates. Going to be seeing Nick Crawford, Christopher Norris, 3rd place battle, still side by side. Norris is trying to keep his foot on the throttle behind them. A little bit of a shuffle going on for Cody Reed and co. But up front, it is still the Sore brothers pulling away from the rest of the field. But there's the caution. That's the stage. And it's Larry Yingling going around for the 67 as the field crosses the line.
Well, I think he's going to get some help on this yellow flag here, Sam. I think that's going to be from the 25 of Cody Reed. So we'll go back here and see it. Oh, yep, you already saw it right there. A little bit of contact made, but we'll see how these two are racing. Reed ripping that top side where we'll see Larry just kind of working this lower side. He's going to come up off the exit of turn 2 here. Reed can have a great run to the outside, but I think the 67 going to get loose, kind of close the door there. The 25 so close to him. I don't know if just reacts in time, just gets into the rear of the 67, but Yingling goes around, and man, just tough night for him and not able to find the speed he wants.
Extremely tough night, but here are going to be your 10 drivers with stage bonus points. Winning the stage goes to Presley Sora. That's 10 bonus points for himself. Second goes to Vincent Sora with 9 points. Then Nick Crawford, Christopher Norris, John Forbes, Danny Cochran, Jared Talmadge, Justin Campbell, Cedric Hunter, and Joshua Kanata. Going to be your top 10 drivers at the stage. Presley Sora going to be enjoying that one for himself. But with the timings of these yellows for certain drivers that just topped off on fuel that are ready before the end of the stage, they're able to stay out. That's going to be our top about 8 drivers are going to be drivers that decide to stay out. One of those, Jared Talmadge. Zach, this is shocking. Talmadge yet to pit tonight. He is going to stay out on 67 lap old tires compared to the rest of the field.
Wild scenes here. He's taking a big gamble, so to say, here, Sam. So we'll see how it works out for him. I like the call from the likes of Cedric Hunter, Joshua Kanata, some of these drivers who pitted literally just 28 laps ago. You know, even Stovall, Sandy Garcia 16 laps ago. You got Reed 8 laps ago for himself. So It's definitely a mixed bag here, so to say, but this is going to shake things up with Presley Sora, our stage winner, being back in 10th.
Presley Sora going to be back in 10th, Vincent Sora 11th, Nick Crawford, John Forbes 12th and 13th. But inside of our top 10, it's Jared Talmadge, Cedric Hunter, Joshua Stovall, Joshua Kanata with Cody Reed, Samuel Garcia, Trenton Jump, who just spun around. He's now inside of the top 10 with Michael Miller, as we see what Isaac Shelley and others have for these front runners. Again, old tires on the outside row. We'll see how well Jared Talmadge can take off and go. As the stage racing is over, it's all about the win. Pace car into pit road. Outside row's got control, but does not take off as Talmadge. Cedric Hunter has to back off, giving the space for the 61 as they head down into turn number 1. It's Cody Reed with a good launch, but they're spinning in the middle of the field as is Michael Miller going to be spun around for the 99.
Oh man, just as we were exiting off of 2, everything was starting to happen, but it just kind of clogged up really from about the 8th position on back, and we saw a major stack that caused that 99 to go around right here.
So we're going to see on this restart, again, it's the 99 here, the white and red with no number. That is Michael Miller, and it just turns into an accordion effect if everyone's lock jamming up into the corner. I mean, Zach, this is one of those restarts and kind of moments that happen that there's nothing any of the drivers did wrong. You're just everyone's tackling the corner like they normally would, and there's just everyone stacked up.
The stacking is just one of the unfortunate things you see a lot of times here at these places, because when one person checks up for the person ahead of them, it just leads to farther and farther down the line, and if someone's not there to check up, they get ran to the back of, and you see that wreck like that. So it's a common theme that you'll see here tonight, especially in North Wilkesboro, where people are fighting for that outside lane. They're trying to slide up in front of people, and it can kind of cause those accordion effects where people are trying to get up in the line.
As Jared Talmadge wasn't able to take off exactly when he wanted to. I think he was struggling to get into the right gear and take off. And I think also when drivers aren't used to being up front, that restart zone kind of tricks people. It kind of gets they are not used to the way that you have to take off almost before the pace car fully pulls off the racetrack.
That you do. It is a very interesting place to restart, so to say, when you come to this North Wilkesboro Speedway. So you got to make sure you're on top of it, and if you're, very easy to sleep. I tell you, I've done it myself, where just not ready for a restart, and you can kind of lose out really, really big by that. So it's a game of track position here at North Wilkesboro, and when you lose out on the restart, you feel really, really bad about it.
As the field sees those lights turn off, that's your 1 to go indicator. We are about to go back to green flag racing. The question for how long, as drivers are getting prepared for this launch. It's going to be Jared Talmadge again, yet to pit this race. He's on 73 lap old tires with Cedric Hunter right behind him. But the field, a group to watch out for, has got the freshest of rubber, going to be only back 19th on back, 8th on back, excuse me. That's where we find Presley Sora and Nick Crawford. But up front, let's give it another go for Jared Talmadge into the restart zone. A much cleaner launch for the 61. That's what he's looking for with Cody Reed side by side with Cedric Hunter. This is where the Lightning McQueen machine wants to get the launch, and Cody Reed is right there on Talmadge's back bumper.
Second time around works out for that 20 or the 61 machine, and the 25 takes a big advantage of it, and he's on some of the freshest tires.
Teammates! It's Christopher Norris and John Forbes that goes around as the 38. It's the one that gets tossed.
Just like that driver who was up in the mix all night long up there in the top, just getting rooted out, and kind of, one situation could lead to something. Is you're going to see here off the exit of the corner, the 16 at Canada. He's going to slide up here, right there, kind of close the doors. The 38 had that big run. He kind of now has to jump to the outside, loses the rear a little bit, tries to close the door. His teammates there of John Forbes, and spins himself around.
And it's one of those bang bang moments. I think if we take a blimp view, you're going to see where the fact that the 11 held his line, he did really nothing wrong. It's so hard to react to those certain moments without quick. Everything moves at a short track. Christopher Norris just a simple, thought he was clear, wasn't. All that space is gone.
That's exactly right, Sam. It's it happens so fast, and Christopher Norris, he felt like he was clear there for a moment, and as he's turning down, he is clear, but it's just so much speed loss that John Forbes is there. Nothing Forbes can do, and it's just a spun around 38 machine.
As Christopher Norris and others going to be staying out for themselves on this launch. It's going to be into pit road to get service done. Christopher Norris, Mark Morales Jr., also Michael Miller, and Ollie Fonseca going to get repairs done. Ollie Fonseca, the first car 1 lap down, looking to get himself that, at least get his laps back, have a good run here this evening. I know that 24 was hoping for a good just evening. I know a lot of drivers are here at North Wilkesboro, but I mean, Zach, such a tough track here this evening. We've seen it so many times with all the cautions. It's more wreck avoidance and putting yourself in the right situations to survive if there are drivers around you.
I've seen many a race play out here where the fastest driver does not come home the winner in North Wilkesboro, and it's a lot of times due to a factor of a lot of yellow flags and a mixed bag of strategies and really not knowing what strategy is going to be the optimal one for timing of these yellows. So going to be very interesting to see how it does shake out, but man, I tell you, it all the time does not end up where that fastest driver will win this race just due to the yellow flags and the frequent occurrence of them.
As looking at drivers, those that are on the freshest set of tires to watch out for, Presley Sora has been able to move up now to 6th position. Other drivers that are on the same set of him that are 13-lap old tires. Nick Crawford back in 9th, Vincent Sora in 10th, and Dan Cochran in 11th. The rest of the field also on a similar set of tires. Those that just got damage repair, going to be Michael Miller, Christopher Norris, Mark Morales. Those drivers just getting service done. Going to be back in 18th and 19th position. Jared Talmadge, the one who took the biggest gamble, but it's working out so far. Because he's the control vehicle, he could keep the lead even with old tires, and with all these cautions coming out, might be able to stretch the fuel out. We'll see if it continues on. Green flag is out of the air. Big wiggle by Cody Reed. It keeps the 61 in position up front as Joshua Stovall keeping his foot in the throttle. The 42 to the outside quarter panel of Talmadge. Talmadge might be in trouble as there goes Stovall on the outside.
Last race winner there at Talladega is that 42 tries to use those fresher tires to work around the top, and man, the 25 of Reed, he shoved the 12 of Presley Sora up the track. We'll see if the 12 kind of gets him back.
Trying to keep their way forward. Cedric Hunter with a big save for the 13, but it checks up everyone on the inside row. Joshua Stovall with the nose ahead currently as they go through 3 and 4, but all eyes on the 12 of Presley Sora. Fresh tires and go. The driver that has been up front, that's led the most laps so far this evening, took a gamble to go into pit road at the stage break. Now trying to go for a chance to move forward, but it's Stovall trying to pull away from the rest of the field.
Stovall doing an amazing job. Worked the outer groove on that exit of 2 on that restart, got to that quarter panel, and that's what allowed him to get to the lead there to work around the 61. Now the 12 using those pressure tires jumps to the inside of Talmadge. Will he have the pass made? But no, not enough run there as Talmadge holds on with those older tires.
So impressive. A huge over 65 lap difference on tires. Compare Jared Talmadge to Presley Sora, and the 61 still holds strong in 2nd position. Talmadge then with no give up, but all go, trying to represent his team by his lonesome after seeing Thomas Green get knocked out of this race. It's the 61 once again, the exit of turn 4, keeping his foot in the throttle, but Sora keeping his nose there. Still a chance for this 12 machine for 2nd place as big wiggle and slide, and they continue to fight on.
This shows you how tough it is to pass. The tire difference is massive between these two. Yes, there's a lot of caution laps on the 61's tires, but you'd think the 12 will blow by them. But look at this group in 2. You got Cedric Hunter here working the bottom as John Forbes. He's been able to get up to 4th. He's put major distance between him, Vincent Sora, and Nick Crawford.
That's exactly what John Forbes needs to do. Again, the only reason Forbes is not up front before the start of this race is because himself, Thomas Green, initial launch of this race, both went high. Speaking of high, Cody Reed goes high, but the record in front, it's Mark Morales, who's 1 lap down, wrecks in front of our leaders, and caution flag is out to cool down this action. And honestly, I think it was about to get to a boiling point with how they were 3 wide there with Cody Reed so high up.
And another turn 4 incident here is it has been the Achilles heel of this race, man. This exit off the corner has just been killer for a lot of these trucks out here. Martin Morales just kind of minding his own business, riding out here, kind of just trucking along, and it's just going to be a late tire spin moment there off the exit. He's just not going to be able to hang on to it. It goes around, and like you said, that was right in front of the leader, so that's going to bring the yellow out.
Trying to get pointed straight, wasn't able to do so. Caution flag is out. And now Joshua Stovall in an awkward situation of having to make a call. Pit road calling or not. A couple of drivers will make the call to the pit road as gonna get service done. Tyler Dingler, track jump. They'll get some service, some tires, and be able to take off and go. As Ali Fonseca will get back on the lead lap. So now we're back to 19 drivers on the lead lap. One lap down being Mark Morales, and 2 drivers officially out of this race, Ethan Smith and Thomas Green. But Zach, I know this is only race 2 of the chase, so we've got 4 more races after this. After tonight, we go to Sonoma next week. Las Vegas, another drama-filled course that we've seen so much history in the past for the ISRC Truck Series. Then we had to Phoenix and Chicagoland to finish out the chase. As I think for the field, they all know all eyes are on John Forbes, but this upcoming weeks, they're not the strongest of races for that 11, and it's going to be great chances to get some points.
That's exactly right. I think tonight, if you're someone like a Nick Crawford or Vince Sora, who was second and third in points, you really wanted to gain tonight. They did gain in the stage, so that was a huge break for that 15 to 74. But now Forbes has jumped ahead of him, and he's up to 4th with some trucks in between them. So that is a huge break when it comes to 11. Also, the 11 here in the prime position we've seen all night when it comes to restarting other than the lead, and that's been the 4th position. So if this 42 takes it outside, expect John Forbes to take a big advantage of that in the 11 truck and possibly move himself up into the top 3, possibly top 2. And this could definitely get a little bit spicy as we head to a few of those other tracks where, like you said, could be a little bit of a maybe weakness for Forbes.
As drivers are excited for this restart, it's going to be Joshua Stovall, who winner of our last race at Talladega, to start the chase off. He's hoping to continue to stay up front, so he'll be taking the outside row as Presley Sora, he'll take the inside. John Forbes going to be the driver of note to watch out for on that second row on the outside for the 11. As we are getting prepared for this restart, as we're closing in on halfway for tonight's race, and still the only driver yet to pit tonight, the 61 of Jared Talmadge, who runs second on the inside row. We'll see how good of a launch 61 has as green flag is out of the air. Good launch for Stovall, but it's going to be Presley Sora keeping a nose at that quarter panel as they go into turn number 1. 42 must stay high, giving space for Sora on the inside groove, and Presley Sora to the quarter panel. The fight's on for that lead position.
Presley Sora needs to fight for this lead, because if he allows that 42 to clear, the 11 will get to his quarter panel, and that opens up the doors. It's 3 wide farther back. Cedric Hunter stuck in the middle between Cody Reed and Vincent Sora.
Vincent Sora sending it all on the inside. He has to check out. That holds everyone on the inside for a quick moment as Cody Reed and Cedric Hunter almost make tapping moves in the middle of that field. Up front, it's still Presley Sora as well, as it's going to be Joshua Stovall for this lead position. They're 3 wide, almost 3 wide, multiple rows deep, but Cody Reed and Cedric Hunter are the ones that continue to keep it side by side for this top position in 5th place. Trouble, though, behind for one of the drivers. It's going to be Isaac Shelley. We stay green even with his woes. But Cody Reed, a great job for holding strong on the outside, but it looks like Cedric Hunter, he might be able to finally take this position. Not the case just yet, but up front, Presley Sora does take the lead spot, and he'll continue to try to drive on.
He did a good job. He cleared the 42, was able to slide up. The 42 did cross him back over. The preferred position is that outside, and now the 12 in the lead position back where he won the stage. Presley Sora in control of this race. That was a huge restart for him. If he allowed that 11 to get ahead of him, that could have been a huge moment for who wins this race.
Could have been lights out. Again, a lot of these drivers recognizing fuel-wise, you're probably good to take it to the end of this race. Tire-wise, oh no, we don't know. As Cody Reed spins around right in front of Michael Miller. And Lightning McQueen having a rough time as the 25 loop it back forward. Didn't get in the wall, but that track position massively lost.
Ooh, I think this one might be a little contact to a little help. And it might be from a driver that he might have given a little help to earlier, too. We saw these two get into it. The 25 spun the 67 out. Oh, look, the 67 into the back bumper, the 25 there. I know the 2 kind of was right there behind the 67, but then we'll see again down here in the center of the corner. The 67 here going to get right to the back bumper and send that 25 right around.
I mean, there are patient levels. And we've seen it in the past. Drivers' patience boiling over. And for Cody Reed, that's got to be a frustrating time. Luckily for these drivers, if you slide, spin out, you feel like you need a new set of tires, they've got 4 extra sets sitting in pit road for themselves. And still, Jared Talmadge says, I do not need those 4 extra sets. I will stick with the one I've got on, as he stays in 4th place. And, I mean, Zach, this is impressive with the quality of speed that Jared Talmadge is at in 4th place. I know we've had a lot of cautions that have helped preserve these tires to be out there this long, but still impressive. We're going to be clocking into lap 100 of 180. Everyone else has made at least 1 stop for tires, except for this 61.
It is super impressive for Jared to be hanging on like that. I mean, you know, these sequences, like I said, they cool the tires back down so they, you know, they do hang on pretty well when you keep having these cool sequences like this, and they never really get a too long of a run. If we got like 20, 30, 40 laps on a set of tires under green flag conditions, I think, you know, continuously he would be into a big problem, but he's been able to hang on pretty well on those old tires just due to the heat cycle over and over again. And he's going to be in a good spot here too, because he's going to restart 4th.
See how well you can take off and go. Those drivers that got service done. Isaac Shelley, Cody Reed going to get some service, as well as Samuel Garcia, Ali Fonseca, Justin Campbell, and Mark Morales Jr. all coming into pit road, as Mark Morales is going to be back on the lead lap with that caution. So we'll have all 20 back on the lead lap for this next restart. Presley Sora, Joshua Stovall, John Forbes, as well as Jared Talmadge, your top 5. Finally moving into positions of attack, though. Got to give credit to Vincent Sora in the 15. He's going to be on the inside row, and I think this inside row could be something to watch out for Vincent Sora, because there have been multiple times on these restarts where the 15 is looking a little snappy loose. I'm concerned for the inside row if we see that once again, if drivers are going to be patient enough to back off when the accordion effects back to them.
It very well could lead to something big here. I mean, yeah, the accordion's right around the corner, and a lot of these guys have been sending it, so to say, when it does that inside, losing the rear end a little bit. So you could see something similar to kind of like a Thomas Green incident early in this race from the pole position. So watch out for that from a few drivers on the bottom.
The aggression levels are high as we are officially in the second half of this race. Just 80 laps to go as Presley Sora, perfect launch and go for the 12 machine. It's everyone from second on back going to be stacked 2 by 2. Jared Talmadge doesn't have the tires completely to take this pass, but he does set up for a chance as they go into turn number 3. 61 ships it, and so does Cedric Hunter. That outside row trying to get moving, but Joshua Stovall's got to be careful as he almost spins off the nose of the 61.
Ooh, that was so close there. Somehow Stovall keeps it straight, but off the exit of 2, it's going to be Talmadge who clears. That inside row is now Forbes, has the 13 of Cedric Hunter, now the 15 of Vince Sora. What's he going to do? Is he going to try to get to that quarter panel, follow his teammate through, or will he try to push the 11 past his teammate?
As the leaders finally get rolling, one driver does have a spin on the backstretch. That's going to be Joshua Kanata, but does not bring out a caution flag. Instead, it's going to be seen the battle for 4th. Cedric Hunter, John Forbes. Who's willing to give, or is it all on the outside as the Hello Kitty machine powers his way forward, trying to get on the accelerator? Vincent Sora recognizing how precious of points it could be to get by this 11 machine, who just kept on climbing and beating up on the points gap for the regular season championship. Other drivers out with a little bit of slides is going to be seeing Christopher Norris as well as Nick Crawford. They had a couple of whoa moments off of 2 as these tires warm up. The more the threats of a big spin start to wander up in the thoughts of these drivers.
That it does, Sam. It is so easy to do. Is almost contact between the 11 and the 13 there. We'd already seen those 2 make some contact early in this race, but the 11 trying his best to get the power down, but the 13 on the outside just going to have the superior positioning. But now look at this, Vincent Sora immediately taking advantage. He's going to try to jump to the quarter panel of the 11 of John Forbes.
Jumps to the outside, trying to make his way to go forward, but John Forbes just enough space. He'll close that gap, not allowing the 15 to go. Almost a little bit of a bump, but there is a shove. Get the 11 wide as Vincent Sora to the inside quarter panel. Gets John Forbes, trying to push him up just a little bit more to Forbes. Both steady and strong, no contact is made, and the 11 continuing to fight for this 5th place position.
This is a fight, man. This is a titanic fight, too, between 2 heavyweight championship contenders, and we're seeing these guys slug it out. As look at this, Christopher Norris, he's working his way back up here. He's working the outside of Isaac Shelley, who at one point, Shelley, he was in the grass about a couple restarts ago. So the 71 doing a good job here back in the top 10.
as they continue to go back and forth. Who's in the better positioning? Shelley's got the better run over Christopher Norris. Norris might just have to give up this spot. Recenter, resave these tires instead. Keeps the nose to the quarter panel, goes high. But again, you might want to just look for an exit plan with the way that these drivers have been racing up front. You got a feeling someone's going to get a little over aggressive with these tires. It's going to backfire as you see the train of drivers all in line. One mistake and you might go backwards as Shelley trying to set up a pass to get by the 46. Jump, trying to also woo the 74 and Nick Crawford forward. Not going to be the case. Instead, we all still continue to stay in line on the inside. Trent Jump, tired of the checkup, he'll go wide.
And man, this is some great racing we're getting to have here. As we've not had too many green flag laps lately, as now they're keeping it that way. As the 46 immediately to the outside of the 2 there, he's going to try to get to this quarter panel. And that's what makes Wilkesboro great, man. The multi-group racing, you get down at 1 and 2, then you come down here to 3 and 4, where the bottom is preferred, but the outside will work just enough to allow some racing.
It sets up enough for a chance in a turn 1. That's what these drivers are trying to set up the best that they can. And Trent Jump, like I said, just tired of staying in the line, tired of the major checkups into the corner, goes to the outside, rewarded for 2 positions, trying to get his 3rd, get by Danny Cochran and move up into the 7th position. And with that slide, taking a chance and taking a gamble, it works out for Trent Jump, as now he's got a chance here on John Forbes, who's starting to stall out.
That he is, and Forbes definitely doesn't seem like he's got as much pace as I was figured to have. Maybe some of these restarts just overcooking the tires just a little bit have hurt him, because he's definitely fallen to the clutches here of Trent Jump and really isn't close enough to Cedric Hunter to really mount a charge yet. So we'll see how this plays out. But yeah, if you're Forbes, you gotta hold on here and you can't slip back, because points you're giving up to the 15 could come back to haunt you later.
Presley Sora loving the fresh air, pulling away from 2nd place of Joshua Stovall, but all this action is really behind Vincent Sora, who's starting to fade back. Also seeing the likes of Jared Talmadge, who still runs 3rd for the 61 machine. And again, this field, they can take it to the end of this race. If we stay green, everyone should be able to make it on fuel and tires. The one driver of big question would be Jared Talmadge for himself, as seeing John Forbes trying to defend that outside row is Isaac Shelley. Now going to be in the inside, side by side with the 46 Trent Jump in. You've seen it visibly on the back stretch. There's that little kink opening in the middle of the backstretch. Drivers have to be careful if you're side by side, bumping and banging against one another, not to accidentally shove the driver that's on the outside into that little notch.
That's for sure. You shove that driver into that notch, they're going to shoot back out like a pinball. I tell you what. So it's not a good thing you want to see. So the driver's going to try to stay avoid from that. But right now, Forbes under attack heavily from the 71, who Shelley working the bottom really better than anybody. He's been able to really roll the inside and just be very patient on the exit and make enough time to stay alongside people. So great job by the 71 so far right here. And I tell you what, it is starting to heat up, and the driver is really surprised me a lot. I mean, I was watching Vincent Sora, his lap times are amazing right now, but Jared Talmadge still on those older tires, he's just as quick as anybody on this track. He's been flashing fast lap times here and there. That's 61 is showing some strength with the older tires.
Yeah, and also I've been looking at the last couple of laps. Everyone that's inside of our top 7 to top 8 are running almost identical times. Everyone has been right hitting the same marks lap after lap, even with battling and challenging one another. It has been tough to see who's got the true advantage, as Vincent Sora, I think, starting to show his strength that it is almost go time, as we've got a final just a couple of laps really to go when you think about it, as we've got 60 laps to go before this race is over. It's kind of go time, because every lap that passes, it's going to take you maybe 3 to 4 laps to make a pass. So if you're back in 7th or 8th, you have to go now, otherwise you'll run out of laps to try to catch up to our top 3.
You're exactly right, Sam. Yeah, you see Vincent Sora, he got to the inside of Talmadge. Took him 2 laps to get it done. So that's a good job. That's right in the ballpark of what you need to be doing. And now he's going to set his sights on Stovall. And I tell you, if we get a longer run here, this is 15, just the way he looks, the way he's exiting the corners, he looks to be very smooth, not really too sideways. You see this, look at the wheel movement. Very little, a little counter steer there to correct it, and that is impressive to see. That tells me that he's not overworking the right rear. He's staying right on the edge of the limit here, as you're going to see again, a little correction, but that's what you want to see. You don't want to see too big of ones throughout too long a duration.
You also saw there going into turn 3 the very different mentalities. Stovall going with a wide sweeping entry to turn 3, trying to find a way to carry more speed, while Vincent Sora, on the other hand, a lot more aggressive, more precise, trying to ship the car to the inside and trusting the exit of the corner is going to be about all throttle, and it is working out. The Brown crew love the fact that Stovall's been up front, got to lead a couple of laps, but now under threat. But one of the championship favorites of Vincent Sora. Sora going to keep it equal down into turn number 1. Almost contact made between the battling for second place. And Vincent Sora almost finally clear. But again, that talking point of it takes maybe 3 to 4, sometimes 5 laps to make a pass. And Sora finally gets it done.
That he does. Sora doing a great job of making that quick work. And the one thing he does is he's very patient right there. He gets very low right on the exit, very straight up off the exit of the corner. That is putting the least amount of stress on the tires. Now, with some clear track about 1.2 seconds back from his brother, let's see if he can track him down. I think if you're Vincent Sora, you want to see his laps click away because, man, he was about 2/10 quicker that last time by.
It's going to be down to the chase, and you're seeing all the drivers still in line. Where there is some side-by-side racing is in what we could call maybe the third pack of drivers. That's everyone from 11th on back that's starting to have a lot more of close reaction and some surprising drivers in this group. You got Larry Yangling, who's stuck back here. You see that red 67. Also, Christopher Norris in that bright blue machine. And Cody Reed, who's running the Lightning McQueen throwback. Shockingly this far back for playoff contenders. They needed to be inside of the top 10, currently are not there.
That they are, Sam. This is a tough night for a few contenders for sure out there. They're hoping for more from their nights for sure, but still a decent amount of way to go here. A lot can happen in 50 laps at North Wilkesboro, so they got to stick with it, as a few drivers are definitely starting to struggle with the rear tires. Seeing a few really have some big moments off of 2 and 4.
Some in a pack, others on their lonesome, and into pit road. Christopher Norris in the 38. What a shocking decision by going into pit road. You are for sure putting yourself 2, maybe even 3 laps down with this decision. I don't know what made Christopher Norris feel like he needed to go into pit road, but this is throwing away a chance if a caution flag comes out and if no one else pits.
I don't know if he had some issues, Sims. We know he's had computer issues. Hopefully that is not what popped up for him, because it seems like he's already back going. But yeah, that's tough to see him coming to pit road. That's going to put him a lap down, and right now everybody's going to make it to the end of this race. If it stays green, you're not making up that time.
No, you're not. 2 tires and go for Christopher Norris, as he will now be 1 lap down. Luckily, just 1 lap. He'll try to have to work his way through all of the field to get that lap back, unless more drivers enter pit road, which not expecting that to happen. But if we're going to see issues, it could be around here. Jared Talmadge as well as Stovall. They're trying to keep a wall back of stopping John Forbes, Cedric Hunter, seeing Shelley and Jump. Everyone recognizing it's go time if you want to catch up to the top 2 Sora brothers, as they are just pulling away from the rest of the field.
Double back to the inside of the 61 as Talmadge cleared him, and Talmadge again, no pit stops tonight. He has been excellent on these older tires, really able to hold on to it, especially with this long green flag run we've had here. Now, Forbes is going to work his way around, and Cedric Hunter just stuck behind the 42. He seems to be struggling a little bit. Now he's going to jump to the outside. Stovall going to go from 1 point second. It looks like back to 8th here at some point.
And Stovall is just needing a caution badly to get tires and maybe get back into this fight. Otherwise, he's just going to continue to fall. You hate to see that call for himself. As again, no other driver has made the decision to go into pit road. It's still only been Christopher Norris. So we're closing in on 40 to go. I mean, looking at the pace here, Zach, I mean, for Christopher Norris, if he was on the lead lap, I would say that he has a chance to try to run down these leaders. But with being a lap down and the amount of laps that are left, that gap from what his best lap is to what they're running currently just isn't there. But we got to go back up to the lead position, because Vincent Sora has caught Presley. He is bouncing on that back bumper. It is right there with drivers in front of him. That's Oli Fonseca, Mark Morales, lap traffic that could be playing an influence if they don't get out of the way. Looks like for Oli Fonseca, he'll stay on the racing surface. Mark Morales is trying to stay high to get out of the way, but Sora is Sora versing one another. The brothers Who will take North Wilkesboro as we continue to stay green? It's Vincent Sora, who just looks so dominant. I mean, it just took him 3 laps, and he cut down the gap that was over a second.
That he was, and he's almost on the back bumper here. This is really tough here. If you're Presley, you're looking in the mirror, you're trying to put the power down. He's wiggling the rear end. Vincent, though, looks like he has a lot of options. He can kind of roll high, roll low. Now going to cut late here on the exit off of 2, put the pressure on the older brother. As he looks to the inside, you're down to 3. They're going to be side by side for the lead here as they're going to be coming to 40 laps to go this time by.
Olive Fonseca going to be backing
wide.
off, forcing him to be 3 wide with the lap car on the outside groove. Vincent Sora going to be on the inside groove. Presley Sora able to send it a little bit deeper, but Vincent did touch the grass that last lap to try to get some help on just cutting the course ever so slightly. Not able to complete the pass there just yet, but the difference in times, somehow they are still holding back the gap to 3rd place. This is impressive to see, even with this duel of going back and forth. The speed is there, but you can just sense that this gap for the lead, if Vincent Sora does not pass Presley here shortly, the rest of the field will catch them, and then we'll have a true dogfight of multiple drivers for this win. As Vincent Sora finally gets the good launch that he needs, almost to the quarter panel as he heads into 1.
He's going to need more than that, Sam. He's got to get farther alongside here down in a 1 because he needs to be able to stay alongside coming off of 3, or going into 3. And I tell you what, he's going to need to get this done because John Forbes has cleared that 61 machine, got up the 3rd. He's now going to be getting past traffic, and Forbes will be there quickly. He is much quicker than the likes of Presley Sora. I think if you're Vince Sora, you can clear and drive away, but you got to get past your older brother here because John Forbes, Isaac Shelley, they will be there quickly with the speed they have.
I mean, John Forbes, yes, he looks incredible. Isaac Shelley looks faster than the 11. I think Shelley is the fastest driver on track currently. If he can actually find a way to get by John Forbes, they're going to work as tandem to try to catch up to our top 2. Behind the battle for 4th place is also going to be Jared Talmadge, yet to pit tonight. That 61. I don't know if he's searching for a caution or not, but he is still running in 5th place as the brothers go almost side by side as Vincent Sora gets on him. He spins him. He spins Presley. Vincent Sora backs off. Presley Sora goes away right in front of the field. Caution is out. Oh, Vincent Sora brings back the throwback scheme, and he's bringing back a little bit of season 1 as well.
Oh, man. I have to get a really good look at that one because I tell you what, it is it's close. I don't even know if they actually make contact.
I mean, contact or not, it is so close, and this is the type of racing we saw Vincent Sora give each and every week when he ran this scheme back in season 1. Throttles up right on the quarter panel, and yeah, I would say, Zach, that's a little bit of contact.
Yeah, a little bit there for sure. The 12 struggling for rear grip. The 15 just superior grip there, and is just able to keep that lower exit, and just it's going to come to collisions. And man, oh man, the the Sora household is going to be going bonkers.
I think a little bit bonkers, but this gives a chance for pit road and pit stops to be made. One driver staying out. That's going to be seeing Justin Campbell as he topped off on fuel 48 laps ago. He'll be staying out. Joshua Kanata also will be staying out. And oh boy, Joshua Kanata, this would be incredible. Under that long green flag run, he had spun out, did not get the caution that was needed, and now is in a chance to be up front on this restart. As Campbell enters pit road, it will be Joshua Kanata leading this race on this next restart.
Wow, he's going to lead the race. And I tell you what, also, John Forbes wins the race off of pit road over Vincent Sora, a second faster in the pit box, a 13.8 for that 11 crew. That was huge for them.
And for Isaac Shelley, who looked like one of the fastest drivers there late, I'm curious for the 71. I don't see any visible damage, but he was the driver that ran into the invisible Presley Sora. So I'm curious if the 71's feeling any damage internally, even though visibly we're not seeing it. But oh man, it is about to be go time. But Kanata giving it up going into pit road. That was something I was not expecting. He just taking the bonus point.
And I tell you, John Forbes is licking his lips, Sam. I mean, he's just now been put in control of this race. If you're Vincent Sora, I think you're seething a little bit here of rage, knowing your championship contender goes from 3rd and you battling for the lead. and getting involved in an incident with your brother battling for that lead to now being in second behind your championship rival. This is a huge turning point.
But if you're Vincent Sora, so you turn the clock back and think about all those moments that you had to have with Mark Whitley to go for a championship win back in season 1. Do you have to make those same old moves here with your current competition? Maybe ruffle some feathers, give some contact. Vincent Sora was open for that outside row to be, outside lane to be given, but John Forbes, he'll keep the outside. As we stack up and get ready for this restart, it's going to be 29 laps to go when we take the green. John Forbes got knocked all the way to the back of the field on lap number 1. It's going to be his first time starting up front since that incident. We'll see if the 11 can keep up front, or does he get pushed to the back again. Green flag is out for the Legacy Art Productions 180. Vincent Sora tried to stay to the inside quarter panel. He's not there. Forbes drops low. Forbes looks good to pull away, as now it's the challenge for second place. It's Cedric Hunter and Vincent Sora, and Sora once again, a little bit of a wiggle that gives opportunity on the outside.
This is Sora's worst nightmare. He does not want to see that 11 get clear track ahead while he has to battle for second to clear. Him and his teammates Cedric Hunter side by side here going into 1 and 2. And remember, folks, a win gives you 10 bonus points. So that is a huge swing. If John Forbes goes out here and wins tonight, you can pretty much kiss away any gains those drivers had at the stage.
And John Forbes, he finished out 8th at the stage. He was going to be basically equalizing and extending that points lead if he wins here tonight. Just putting out the fastest lap of the evening goes to the 11, as you saw there on the top right. Cedric Hunter, who has not been a true threat when you look at raw speed, but he's still right there on the back bumper. Might need a caution to get back into the mix. If we're going to see one, it might be from this Shelley and Yingling incident as they almost make contact. And there's the speed from Cedric Hunter. He's not a short run speed guy, but there it is right there.
18.977. So first 18-second lap of the session. Cedric Hunter finding something deep inside of him here. And I tell you what, North Wilkesboro, one of his better tracks. I think the 13 going for it here, Sam.
I would say so. Cedric Hunter came in to 5th, tied with 5th in points. He is still 31 points back from John Forbes, but a win can make it a lot more of a fighting battle into the future races, where the 11 again next week at Sonoma. Not the strongest race on the schedule, really a place where we're expecting a big gain for the rest of the championship hopefuls to try to stop the 11 from becoming a 3-time champion, 3 in a row, as John Forbes continues to try to racket these laps down, pulls away from Cedric Hunter, and almost matches his fastest lap was the 11 that last go around.
That he almost did, 19.089. So showing the speed there. Still goes around.
Back into the field. It's the big one. Oh no!
Yellow.
Caution will be thrown by the admins, and we will reset it and stack it here on this restart.
Oh man, and I tell you what, this restart here just got even more wild, because now you got Vincent Sora. He's going to be 3rd on this positioning. That's going to push him back to 2nd on the bottom, with Cedric Hunter leading that way. So it is going to shake things up, so to say, there. But we saw it, the 2 of Danny Cochran going around there. Now his teammates going to be stuck on that bottom side.
And going to be the driver in the money spot behind the leader. It'd be the 46 of Trenton Jump. You look back to some of the most historic moments of the ISRC Truck Series at this track. Trenton Jump felt at times that he's had fast trucks and vehicles to go for the win at this course, but got intentionally wrecked. Thinking back to that season 3 race, one of the most memorable moments looking back for the long run series that we used to give. Trenton Jump might be in a spot where he could be the stealer of this evening if he gets a massive launch for himself here.
He really could be, man. I don't put it out of contention. He's having one of his best runs of the season here, and you know, I think if you're Trenton Jump, you'd love to make a statement here at North Wilkesboro, a place where, you know, in the past, it's not been the greatest moments for the 46.
No, I mean, it's certainly not the best finishes in the world, but we'll see how things can ebb and flow here. As update on some other drivers, Presley Sora going to be back in 9th place for himself on this restart. For you Stovall fans, currently Joshua Stovall in 8th place as he's mired around Talmadge and Shelley. And Larry Yingling who started the night off getting spun around off the nose of the 25 of Cody Reed. Inside of the top 10, 5th place currently. This is a classic Larry Yingling type of a run.
It really is. He just finding late speed, that 67 just classically doing that. And I tell you, I don't know if the 25 lit a fire underneath him or what, because ever since then he's definitely picked up the speed, so to say. So Yingling, after his win at Atlanta a couple weeks ago, looking to finish him with a good finish here in the second race of the playoffs.
Got an update on the 2 machine of Danny Cochran. Looks like he will be the 3rd driver to call in a night as he has left the server. Hate to see that for the 2 who was inside of our top 10 all night long, but will not be rewarded with that finish. It will take 20th here this evening as Cedric Hunter, as well as John Forbes, waits for the pace car lights to go off, expecting to see 13 go low, and he will. John Forbes makes the call. He wants that outside lane for himself here as drivers are set, ready to go. And question in the chat, curious if Talmadge did pit. He did pit 2 cautions ago, 15 laps. He did pit for tires when the rest of the field all came into pit road. So Talmadge is on equal footing. He's currently back in 5th place. He's going to be the 3rd car on the outside lane. We'll see how well he can take off here as John Forbes, Cedric Hunter going to get ready to take off and go. Pace car into pit road, into the restart zone. The Legacy Art Productions 180 is back underway, and Cedric Hunter, I don't know if he timed it perfectly, jumped a little early, but the 13 gonna have the front nose as they exit at turn number 2. Cedric Hunter is your leader currently.
Wow, what a move from him, and down here in the 3 and 4 with him having position on the nose there. He's gonna almost be clear if he can just put the power down. Almost does it, but overdoes it there.
He almost threw it completely away. Gonna be a big wheel side by side into turn number 1. Hunter gonna be right on that quarter panel, almost pushing him wide. Vincent Sora now gonna be the inside of his teammate of Cedric Hunter. And the battle for second is back on. Trouble further on back. It's Michael Miller who's going to be spun for a quick second. We stay green, though, as John Forbes had the scare, thought his lead was gone. Instead, he's rewarded with a little bit under a half a second lead over Vincent Sora. And, oh, boy, Zach, that could have been the move, but Cedric Hunter just gassing it too soon.
He had such a great advantage. He was almost clear. As long as he just keeps the somewhat semblance of an advantage there and just cracks the throttle a little bit, I think he can drive into 1 and 2 and possibly clear. But they're wrecking farther back. It looks like Christopher Norris, Presley Sora up into the wall.
Presley Sora, Norris, I think a couple of others going to be also backing off. And that is going to be a huge issue for the 12, who was trying to get a good launch going forward, but just not the case. You're going to see here the 12 trying to stay low, but going into turn number 1, it just did not work out for himself.
This is weird and awkward here. It's either the 67's going to lose the rear, like we seen with Thomas Green earlier, or maybe a little net code from the 71. Something sends the 67 around. That causes the 12 to have to kind of correct to the right. The 38 couldn't see, I think, and he's just kind of there. And Presley Sora, who was at one point leading this race battle with his younger brother, now once again involved in another incident.
Yeah, it kind of looked like a mini wreck, kind of similar to that Thomas Green incident earlier. Just nowhere to go for all 3 companies there. Just a little wiggle and a slide as everyone else is going full speed. There's just not much reaction time you can give in those scenarios as the field's going to reset. Get ready for this restart. Presley Sora, Christopher Norris, also going to be Joshua Kanata, all going to come into pit road and maybe use a set of tires. Again, the field was given 4 sets to work with. And we were seeing some of the fastest laps of the night. I would not be surprised if some of these drivers up front have been overcooking those tires. Yes, they've got the pace laps to recool them, but that wear and tear, if we get into a decent run to finish this thing out, I mean, you would enjoy having a little bit of fresher tires to work with.
You definitely could enjoy having a little bit fresher tires. I think this cooldown phase is going to help these drivers, of course, but we'll see how it works out. I mean, if it goes green to the end, I think if you overcooked your stuff here a little bit, you could start to see signs of it right before we get into those final 3 to 4 laps of the race and really start to have those battles start to heat up. But I tell you what, that last restart, it showed that if you can get the restart on the bottom, like Cedric Hunter did, almost perfectly timing the 11's jump there, you can make that bottom work. It's just you have to be perfect. And I mean, if you're Vincent Sora, this is your biggest opportunity right now because you have the 61 Talmadge right there on the outside. you don't get a great restart, that allows him possibly to get to your quarter panel, and then from there, you're just trying to battle for second.
For you Stovall fans, Stovall's going to be a third car on the outside, moved up to 6th position. As we will have less than 10 laps to go here on this restart. Vincent Sora, John Forbes, Cedric Hunter, Jared Talmadge going to be your top 4 ready to go here this evening. Pace car into pit road. They're backing off just slightly. Wait until the very last moment to go. Vincent Sora trying to stay at least a quarter panel there. Will not do so. John Forbes blinks out for a quick second, pushing wide as Stovall trying to go 3 wide further on back. It's John Forbes keeping the top position as Vincent Sora trying to hunt that inside groove once again for the 15.
He has got to be aggressive here, Sam. He knows 10 points lost here to John Forbes this early in the playoffs. We're having another incident. This 71 up into the wall. Him and the 46 came to contact, but it's going to be a caution out with the 71 coming to a dead stop.
Isaac Shelley just nowhere to go. And it looked like some wild net code. Probably the worst of the night, like because of this incident.
It really did, Sam. This was definitely wild, and we had just seen possibly maybe even something kind of similar with the 61. You know, possibly with him not even losing the rear. Really, it could have been the 71 with him net coding. So seen that a few times here tonight, but the 71 here going to come off the exit. The 46 to the inside here. They're going to fight down into the corner. We're going to see no contact made. The 46 is just sent around into the 71, and Isaac Shelley's night goes from, I mean, what a spectacular run he had on that long run to just being knocked out of this race quickly.
I mean, that is Isaac Shelley's season. That has been almost every race. It has been either a strong start where it gets caught up in a mess in the middle, or he finds strength in the middle of the race and then it falls apart at the end. It seems like that has been Isaac Shelley's season. You hate to see that for the 71. We hope that and maybe at some point he finds some momentum, but it just has not been there. As Isaac Shelley, want to give kudos on a great race. You looked strong. Unfortunately, did not work out and being rewarded with a good finish. Instead, we'll keep our eyes up front. John Forbes, Vincent Sora, Jared Talmadge now going to be your top 3. Cedric Hunter will be that driver on the outside in 4th place. Seeing Joshua Stovall 5th. 6th will be Trenton Jump. And I mean, if you're Vincent Sora, we're going to be having a shootout here. It's either going to be a 3-lap shootout or inside the regulation green-white checkered that we're going to have for this next go. And I mean, if you're Vincent Sora, I feel like your only option might be to make a little bit of contact if you want to make a pass, because making a clean pass, it looks almost impossible the way this 15 has looked on the inside.
I gotta agree with you. I think you're gonna have to rough up John if you want to get around this 11 machine, man. It's gonna be very, very tough to do. You see he's gonna hold that outside line, gonna restart up top there again. I will say the more and more restarts you restart beside him, the better you can time it, kind of like Cedric Hunter did that one time. We'll see if Hunter allows, you know, even Vincent Sora maybe to get in the line too, to have an opportunity here. But both of them fighting for opportunity to win. I don't know if the 13 is going to roll over, so we'll see how that shakes out. But if you're John Forbes, just try to run away from these guys, not allowing them to get to that back bumper.
John Forbes, Vincent Sora, 3 laps to go. Do we make it to the end in regulation time, or do we need some overtime? Time to find out, as that is the perfect launch Vincent Sora needed. He'll stay dead equal down in turn number 1. Hard on the brakes, accelerating off the exit of turn 2. It's the 15 with the nose ahead, but John Forbes with the better momentum. They'll stay side by side, almost contact as they exit out of turn number 4. Hand up in the air. It's 2 to go for the field here at North Wilkesboro.
A little loose for the 15 there off of 4. He was a nose ahead, but he's got to get a great exit off of 2 if he wants his best opportunity yet. A nose ahead into 3. Can Vincent Sora roll the middle, get the drive here to get to that lead position?
Exiting out of turn number 4, cross the line, white flag in hand. If it was that lap, it goes to John Forbes, but we're on the last lap. White flag is in the air, gloves are off. Who wants the win? John Forbes is clear. Sora's got one more attempt. Will he get to the bumper in time? He's not close enough. John Forbes wins here in North Wilkesboro as a calamity coming to the line.
Wow. What a wild finish there, but behind the back. But John Forbes back against the wall, involved in a wreck right off the start this race, comes back, wins the event, and man, I tell you, it's going to be tough to beat this guy in the points.
I mean, literally everything that everyone did at the stage got wiped out, cleared for nothing. John Forbes gets pushed to the end of the line on lap number 1, fought and climbed as Christopher Norris explodes off of the pit road wall. A good land on all 4, but John Forbes going to be enjoying this win. I mean, what a charge. Basically going to go from last to first with that first lap scuffle with Thomas Green, and it works out. John Forbes wins here for the Legacy Arts Production 180. We will be back after this. We've got our top 3 of John Forbes, Vincent Sora, Cedric Hunter, and a spotlight driver after this as we come back for the post-race show in just a few. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Freaky Fast Broadcasting for the post-race show of the ISRC Larry R Productions Truck Series. Tonight, second race of the chase of 6 races, and it goes to victory lane to talk to the 11 machine of John Forbes. Sorry, John, to take you away from that conversation, but you're a winner here for race number 2 of the chase. You already had a 19-point gap entering tonight, and with this win, it just blossoms up to being a bigger number. I mean, how are you feeling coming away with the win here tonight that started off on a very rough start?
Yeah, I'm just relieved, honestly. That whole race, I was so stressed out because being around traffic, you don't know what's going to happen, especially here where the car's really loose and you go to the outside of somebody like what happened on the first lap and they lose it. I mean, that could have been race over for me right there if it had broken the steering or something. So just coming in here, I just knew I need to qualify up front, and I think I'll be okay because it seems like all the wrecks and stuff happen in the back at this place. And, you know, I always found myself involved in them here at Wilkesboro. I mean, I look back a couple seasons ago and I had like a 16X like by lap 50 or something in that race, and I had to kind of do what Cody was doing tonight and just nurse it around the back because you just couldn't do anything. So to get to the back, I was like, oh no, I gotta do it. I gotta make something happen here. So yeah, we just buckled down and just through the race, just basically just got positions one after the other. And I was just kind of settling in on that last run when both the Soras were going at it, and I was getting closer and closer, and then Presley went around. I barely missed him. I was like, all right, we just got to have a good stop. We got Vinny on the stop on that when that caution came out. And then from there, just the other loop that was thrown into it was the restart zone. Basically, it was going green, like right when the leader touches the line. So everybody knew when the leader's going to be launching. So that made it really difficult for me to do anything, really. I tried kind of slowing him into the zone, kind of going faster. I almost lost it to Cedric that one restart where he timed it perfectly. He was about to clear me, but I just had my nose in there, and it just slipped him down to the bottom. And yeah, we were able to hang on to it. But just what a race! I'm just super relieved to get out of here with the better points lead. Sonoma's not one of my best tracks, but I think we can have a pretty good performance there and just go for a top 5, get some stage points. But don't got to do anything too crazy.
Definitely not got to do anything too crazy, John. Congrats on another win, man. It's been an excellent start here for the second race of this chase for yourself, man. I mean, you talked about the battle that you had between Cedric and Vincent there. Those were some great battles with those restarts really being very, very close for you guys. Were you surprised, though, that Vincent, you cleared him off the exit of 2 there on that final lap? Were you surprised there was no contact down there in 3, or were you kind of bracing for it?
Yeah, I drove it in a little bit deeper. You never know what they're gonna do. But me and Vinny are great friends. We always have respect for each other, and you guys could see that on that last restart. We're not gonna do anything too crazy to each other, but we always race hard. And if anything happens that's like not intentional, it's all good. So I think that's how we'll keep it up for the rest of this. You don't want to make too many bad friends, especially the guys that are running up front every week. So everybody has a lot of work to do too, and I know they're hoping that I'm getting involved in stuff. So for me, just to stay out of it the best I can is going to be my best course of action here.
I mean, John, that was something that we kind of were talking about on the broadcast. Is if you had won, it kind of was a dagger to everyone that had a good stage run because of it being counteracted with the 10 bonus points for a win, and you did just that. Your gap now up to 32 points entering into next week at Sonoma. What is the confidence for yourself knowing that you've got 4 more races? You've got Sonoma, Las Vegas, Phoenix, then Chicagoland with a 30-point buffer to work with for those rest of those races.
Yeah, I really feel like we're out of the fire with these first couple races. Here being a short track, you never know what to expect, and then Talladega too, getting involved in trouble there and coming back to a good finish. It's just the type of runs I need to keep having. And I think as we get later into the season, the tracks, there's the regular 1.5 miles, more of the things we're used to that might be a little bit cleaner than what we've been used to at the start of the playoffs here. So just getting to that point, getting through Sonoma, just the last road course that we have to navigate for this season, and just locking down for those last couple races, being normal places we go to, or it's going to be really important to stay out of trouble as well.
Well, John, we can't wait to see her to perform for these final 4 races for that hunt for 3 in a row. Congratulations on this win. And before we let you go, the floor is now yours for any more shout outs.
Yeah, just thank my brother putting this great scheme together. I think we won the paint scheme contest too, so he's gonna be receiving a little payment from that, which is super cool. We put a lot of time and effort into this scheme. Had a little help from Danny as well. Got to shout him out for helping Justin figure out how to make a spec map for this thing. So look forward to some good schemes coming from Justin in the future. Thank you guys for the broadcast. My teammates for helping me out all night. Had some decent runs from us, so we're just going to keep carrying it on the next coming weeks.
We can't wait for it. That will be your winner here tonight for the Legacy Arts production. 180 from North Wilkesboro goes to the 11 of John Forbes. John, congratulations on this win. Enjoy it as your 5th of the season, continuing on the winning ways. Good luck, John, when we head to Sonoma next week.
Thank you, guys. Have a good night.
You too. As we head from victory lane, we go to second place. Talk to the driver that, honestly, I don't know how to feel for a driver. Had another great run here tonight. Had a couple of slip-ups here and there, but second place to the one driver he couldn't be second to. We've got Vincent Sora with us. Vinny, I mean, it was awesome to watch all night long, seeing your different battles with so many different drivers, but how are you feeling after tonight's race?
I'm just completely demoralized. And I did it all to myself. I was the fastest truck by felt like a mile on that long run, and just it's so hard to pass. I mean, my brother did a great job. I feel terrible. he got a little bit loose in front of me, and I rolled the corner a little bit better, and I didn't think I was going to roll it as good as I did, so I was ready to just kind of slot in and go down into one and on his inside, and I just misjudged it and killed him. And then I had a slow as molasses pit stop, and then John, as usual, had like a 5-second pit stop. And I mean, yeah, I don't know, man. This guy's unbeatable. I can't beat him no matter what I do, and I always just finish second to him and watch the points lead grow more and more. No matter what I do throughout the race, I can run top 2 the whole time, and he'll figure out a way to beat me at the very end. So he's got a 32-point lead. If he just shows up the next 4 weeks, he's going to get another title no matter what I do. So I don't know. I'm just going to have fun and keep on finishing second.
Definitely a tough position to be in, Vinny. We know that fighting so hard to get that championship, man, and had an amazing run tonight. We could definitely see the speed that the 15 possessed out there on that longer run for sure. But man, I mean, you got Sonoma coming up. I know it's demoralizing, like you said, to be in this position right now. Bright side of things, Sonoma, how do you feel about there? We know that's a strong track for you. Do you feel like you can come back there, bounce back, and maybe get the ball rolling in that way? I know it's a uphill battle for yourself, but there's still opportunities out there.
Yeah, I mean, I feel good about Sonoma. I think out of the next 4 races, that's probably the only one that I see myself realistically winning. Las Vegas is just basically a super speedway in these things, and I haven't had good luck in the past. Phoenix, I don't even know if I raced there in this league, and then Chicagoland is going to be another pack race. So I don't know, man. It just sucks. I'm going to do what I can. I need to get stage points. I hate stage racing, and bonus points have really hurt here in this chase in this season. So yeah, I don't know. I'm just going to do the best I can and see if I can chop down any of this 32-point lead.
Well, Vinny, I know you're not feeling that great about it, but still an impressive finish here, second place here tonight. And before we let you go, the floor is now yours.
Yeah, everybody in the league. I wish we would have had a few less cautions tonight, but overall, when we got that green flag run, it was pretty good until I ruined it. Shout out to the guy that I killed, my brother. He did a good job defending, and I feel bad for running him over there and ruining his race. Shout out to all my CSR teammates and you guys for broadcasting.
Well, thank you for giving us such a great show to call. That will be your second place finisher here tonight of Vincent Sora. Vinny, good luck on next week at Sonoma.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
You too. As we move from second place, we go down to third. Talk to a driver that at one moment maybe felt like he had the race in his hands, and then the second he was falling backwards. We've got Cedric Hunter with Cedric. I mean, third place after being pushed around all night long. I mean, coming to third isn't the worst thing in the world unless you look at those final couple of laps. How are you feeling after tonight's finish?
I feel pretty good. I feel like I did the exact same thing that I did at WSSR when we came here at the end of last season, where I kind of just struggled early and tried to manage my stuff maybe too much, and like you said, kind of got used up early in the race, and then I just got annoyed and frustrated, and I just said, screw it. I'm just gonna, if everybody just wants to move people out of the way, then I'm gonna start just being hyper aggressive and do the same thing. And as soon as I did that, I kind of was able to move to the front, and obviously I played a little bit different strategy, but I was able to get up there and then kind of keep that spot. So felt pretty good. Felt like I learned a lot. I mean, I guess I learned the same thing that I did in the past, but I was really close, obviously, with getting the win. I think I timed that one restart, it was second or third to last one, like perfectly, and I was almost clear. I just I just busted my what out of 4, so and then gave up the positions. And I guess at that point, if I'm not racing for a win, I'm not racing for anything really. So I figured I'd let Vinny go and see if he had a shot at trying to get the win, because points matter more to him than they do to me. So yeah, it's a good race though.
Definitely an interesting one here tonight, Cedric. We saw a lot of cautions here tonight, a lot of short runs with heat cycles in between. And then we have that long green flag run. I mean, how tough is that to go from not really know what's to come, and then all of a sudden it's on y'all now where you actually need to manage the tire?
Yeah, it was interesting. I mean, I had like 30-40 lap, I think, older tires than most of the field. And temps matter so much. And there was at one point, especially near the end of the run, where I was just wicked loose. I felt like I couldn't really do anything. I did a pretty good job of like holding my own on older tires earlier in the run, and then when the temperatures kind of just climbed up. It was I was death gripping the wheel and trying my hardest to just, not get wicked loose. And it was fun. It was obviously different. I was happy to see that we got a long run, and I was kind of worried that it was just going to be a wreck fest. And um, yeah, again, it was a good race. It was kind of exactly what I expected coming into this, and yeah.
I mean, Cedric, we're heading to Sonoma next week for the next race in the chase. What is the confidence level knowing that we're heading to our final road course of the season?
I tend to like road courses. Not a fan of Sonoma at all. So I'm hoping for like a 10th place finish. I guess just a top 10 would be nice. Um, and I'm just glad that I didn't do anything, I guess, to give myself a penalty going into that race. Um, my game plan, honestly, for there, I think is gonna be the same thing. Just try and save the rears as much as possible, and as bad as I am at qualifying, that's gonna be the most important part of next week. So, fingers crossed, I could do something decent there.
We're hoping for at least a solid finish as well for yourself, Cedric. Congratulations on a top 3 run here tonight. Enjoy it, and good luck next week as we are heading to Sonoma. And also, before we let you go, if you have any other shout outs, it's all yours.
I appreciate it, man. I'm just gonna keep it nice and brief. Thank you to you guys for doing everything that you guys do. I hope we put on a good show for you guys and for the fans out there. Shout out to everybody watching, and congrats to John for winning, and to my teammates Larry, Danny, and Vinny.
Well, that will be your third place finisher here tonight in the 13 Hello Kitty machine of Cedric Hunter. Cedric, enjoy this one, and good luck at Sonoma next week.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
As we now move from our top 3 to now 4th to talk to the driver of the night. Probably had one of the more oddball different strategies of the evening, but it was fun to watch. We have Jarrett Talmadge with us, coming away with a 4th place finish this evening. Jarrett, I mean, you were the one driver that stretched their tires out over 140 laps. What were you thinking? How are you feeling coming away with 4th here tonight?
I'm pretty ecstatic to come away with 4th, to be honest. I wasn't really expecting much coming into tonight, and I don't know. I feel like I took care of my tires pretty good the first, couple of yells we got there, and I saw everybody pit in front of me, and I figured it'd be a track position race. I knew you could overtake, but I just took my chance at the lead and stuck with it when we got there.
We took your chances there, Jarrett, man. That was a heck of a call there to stay on those tires. And, once you got on even footing with everybody, how kind of different was it? Because, you were hanging on so well with the old tires. Did you kind of feel like, man, now I got something else?
Yeah, on that first restart there, it was like my first lap of practice. I hadn't felt that much gripping since the start of the race, basically. So it took me a minute there to get used to it. But after that, I was really hoping forward there I could get on the 4th on that final restart, because I felt like if John and Vincent got racing, I could, get a chance if they got to making contact. But it didn't work out, and P4 is still a pretty dang good result.
It is a pretty good result. I mean, Jarrett, you're running pretty similar to what we saw last season, where you were up front competing for a lot of these races, just had good, solid finishes. What is it like, knowing that you're running so well in these final stages, and with knowing we just got 4 more races left? Do you feel like you've got the pace to go for a win? Because we're going to a track that you won before in Las Vegas in 2 weeks.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like as a mindset, you always got to come in thinking that you have a chance to win. Because if you don't, then you just probably don't have the right mindset. And obviously, Vegas pretty good to me. I feel like next week at Sonoma is probably going to be a rough one. Not very good at the road in stock cars, but the final races after Sonoma are pretty lineup good for me. I think we can get a win.
I would love to see that happen for yourself and the 61 team. Jarrett, before we let you go, the floor is now yours for any other shout outs.
Shout out to my teammates, Thomas and Ike. I know Thomas had a rough one tonight, but I'm sure he'll bounce back next week. He always has the speed. Shout out to you guys for putting on the broadcast and everybody that runs the league, and shout out to Danny for the paint.
Well, that will be the 61 machine of Jarrett Talmadge coming away with a 4th place finish here tonight. Congratulations on that, and good luck trying to survive Sonoma next week.
Thank you.
As that will be our top 4 that we got to talk to. Jared Talmadge gambling it early on for most of the race on older tires, made it work for himself. But for tonight's race, take a look at our unofficial results. It's John Forbes putting a dagger in all of the other championship hopefuls, championship runs, as the gap for the points lead is over 32 points over Nick Crawford and Vincent Sora, 35 points over Presley Sora, and it just gets larger and larger after there. But the end results of tonight, it's John Forbes winning, Vincent Sora second, Cedric Hunter taking away third with Jarrett Talmadge fourth, fifth going to Nick Crawford with Presley Sora, even with all of his woes, takes sixth place away. Joshua Stovall will take seventh. Larry Yingling will come away eighth. Ninth is Trenton Jump, and finishing out our top 10 goes the 9 of Justin Campbell. But it was a ball of trucks coming across the line that I think some of these guys are saying, well, luckily I got that finish. Others are saying, how did I finish back here? Because, Zach, it was a chaotic from fifth on back coming across that line.
It really was. I mean, really, fifth all the way to 16th was 1 second. So pretty close to the short track. So it shows you how jumbled up it really was there, as some of these guys got tossed farther back. I mean, tough night, of course, for Isaac Shelley. We saw how good he was in the long run. He got caught up in that incident with him and Trenton Jump. And then, of course, the guy who finished last night, Thomas Green, starting on pole. I mean, probably the favorite, at least for myself, thinking even coming into the night for this track, and just it starts off on a bad foot. He's going to end up dead last tonight.
All going to be stemming from that first lap, first corner for Thomas Green, while the driver that he got caught up with was able to scave away with the win. And it's John Forbes continuing to put his mark down that he is one of the favorite drivers in this series. He's won 2 back-to-back championships, trying to make it 3 in a row, and could tonight be already the nail being talked in that he is the champion as the season progresses forward. Well, we've got more racing action throughout the week here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. Yes, we love the ISRC Truck Series, but we also have upcoming Tuesday, we actually are no longer covering the Challenger Racing League as they finished up their season last week, and we will not be continuing on moving forward with them. So we're actually going to be down to just 3 series going into the new year, as we have the ISRC's Truck Series. We'll be back next week for Sonoma Wednesday. This upcoming Wednesday, we've got the WSSR heading to Auto Club in the Next Gen Cup cars. That probably will be the race of the season. You do not want to miss it. It's going to be a fun one. You have myself and Richard Wolsifer up in the booth for that race. And then Thursday night, heading for some road course racing. This time it's at the Roval with the open setups of the Shoney's Doghouse Cup Series Next Gen cars as they head to the Roval to test out their road skills. Excited for that one. Myself and Zach Hall will be in the booth for that race as well. But that's going to be our upcoming schedule. As for us, I mean, Zach, any final thoughts? As we've got 4 more races, left in the season before we crown our season 7 champion.
Crazy to say that, man. It just shows you how fast time can fly when you got great series like we do here and cover great races like we do on a weekly basis, such as ISRC. So I tell you, I can't wait for these next few, because I think it's really going to start to trickle down when we get here past Sonoma. That's when we're really going to know more of a picture of what these drivers will have to do. Of course, John Forbes 32 points ahead. The tough uphill battle, but racing, anything can happen. We got enough races to where that lead can disappear. We saw how fast you can build those points. It can be easily just lost that fast too. So we'll see. It's not over for these other drivers. They need to keep their head up, but it's going to be tough. We know Forbes 2 times in a row. He's already won that championship. Looking for that third. It's looking very likely, but at the same time, I said anything's possible.
The most winningest driver in the series, the most championships, and John Forbes continues to build the gap points-wise. 4 more races are left in the chase as we head to Sonoma next week for the ISRC Truck Series drivers. But for tonight, John Forbes wins your Legacy Arts production with 180 at North Wilkesboro. For this evening, we are so thankful to everyone that joined with us in the chat. It was commenting on your favorite moments, your favorite drivers you're rooting for. For anyone that was just watching and enjoying the broadcast, thank you so much. Best way to show that you are enjoying it is remember to hit that like button, subscribe so you're notified when we go live. And as well, we just love hearing from you down in the comments after the broadcasts are done. As for us here tonight, we want to say thank you for myself, Sam Dyer, for Zach Hall, for Robert Moyer Jr., and everyone else here from Freaky Fast Broadcasting. Thank you for spending your Monday night with us watching the ISRC Truck Series, as we will be back for more racing action next week at Sonoma. But if you can't wait until then, don't worry, we've got you Wednesday night, WSSR Cup Series. You thought they were crazy racing here at the short track? Think about 2 miles, 4, 5, even 6 wide. You're going to see it all Wednesday night for the WSSR Cup Series, as Auto Club is our next destination for the next Freaky Fast broadcast. We'll see you then.